Chapter 855, Inspection. Chapter 855, Inspection. Proofreader, Papatonks. Clang. This was the only sound made by the sword as it flashed for Zhuofan. The scarlet glow that followed hid within a bestial nature, one of power and wildness to turn any ignorant to mush. Zhuofan stood there at ease, ready to grab the sword and snap it like a twig. Boy, you're newcomers in Flying Cloud City? Yeah. We're Flying Cloud Manor Guards. We have orders to inspect every recent newcomer. Where is the master of this place? Call him out. The loud shouts from outside entered the duo's ears. Pausing, the girl's blade went back to her body, stopping the attack. Her brow tensed at the sudden interruption. Zhuofan pondered before he smiled inwardly. This chick must have gotten scared when she heard Flying Cloud Manor. Being found out was the last thing on her mind. Which helped confirm Zhuofan's guess. The girl had been involved in the break a month ago. With a sinister smile, Zhuofan's eyes shone. The girl grew angry at his rotten smile. The jade sword once again went to touch his neck as she barked, "What are you smiling at? Stop that." Zhuofan turned a deaf ear. "It's not me who's scared but you. So what's there to fear?" Zhuofan's eyes looked up, looking amused and condescending. The girl was outraged and found he ignored her even as she pressed the blade on his neck. Like he got confident all of a sudden as he looked elsewhere. Yet no amount of anger from her part would change that. Flying Cloud Manor's guards were at the door, making killing right now highly ill-advised. Once they're gone, humph. The girl squinted, sticking out her lip in anger. "Miss?" Zhuofan showed a vile look as he uttered, "You're better off killing me. I'm not a nice guy, even planning on slapping you while unconscious." "Humph, I already knew that. But I'm not killing you over that, but..." The girl huffed and glared, then went red in the cheeks. With a weird smile, Zhuofan nodded, "Yeah, I stole your first kiss, but I don't think that grounds for murder. I've done something more foul to earn your anger and kill me." "More foul? What?" The girl was stunned. Zhuofan chuckled, then squinted as he sized her up, whispering in her ear, "Miss, congratulations, you're now a woman." "What?" The girl shuddered, unable to believe his words. What did you just say?" Zhuofan mocked, "Wasn't I clear enough? Fine, let me be completely transparent. I broke you in." Boom. A storm exploded in the girl's head, shocked to the core as she shook her head. "No, impossible, that can't be." "You think so?" Zhuofan snickered, "Miss, you should know better than me just how fine you are. Just think, a man was by your side while you were unconscious, a fully adult male. Could something happen? Did something happen? You decide. I'll kill you." The girl lost it as she howled, pointing her sword at Zhuofan amidst the tears. As if that wasn't enough for him, Zhuofan incited her more, "Come, kill me, but it won't matter since someone already took you. That won't ever change. With the Flying Cloud Manor guards at the door, if you kill me you'll soon follow. Maybe we'll even die together, be with each other forever. Well, not that I mind since my son can look after himself. As long as Miss doesn't have any others to worry about, let us die in the name of love." "Why you?" Her eyes shook as she gnashed her teeth. The sword trembled but didn't budge an inch. "I knew it. She's not alone in the city. She might have relatives far from here, but that wasn't enough to make her hesitate. Subjected to such humiliation, impulse was a human's first choice. But she hesitated because her people were still around and in danger. If something happened to her, it would distract them and make it easy for the guards to catch them. The thought of their safety had her hesitate even in the face of death. Zhuofan was more sure than ever that the girl was a great lead. The sword fell to the ground and the girl hugged her knees while sobbing. Anyone would be heartbroken hearing her. "Oh." Zhuofan smiled and went to pat her head. "Miss, aren't you gonna kill me?" "Beat it." She roared like a banshee, wishing to swallow him whole. Zhuofan ignored it, of course, with a smile. "Then let me tell you a little secret. You're still an untouched chick." "What?" Shuddering, the girl lifted her head in shock. "Why, you aren't lying?" Zhuofan shook his head. "It's your body and you don't know? Why even ask?" Blushing, the girl sensed herself and lowered her head in shame. "Then why?" "I thought of letting you see what's most precious." Zhuofan said, "Once you found out you were broken, you didn't have the mind to care about some kiss, right? When you're about to die, who the hell cares if you're broken in? People always have a line they do not cross, but since it was broken and done with, why think about it? You should always think more about what you have and not cling to what you lost." Zhuofan walked outside. "Now, Let's see Flying Cloud Manor's guards. The more you hide, the more you bring suspicion on you. It's better to face them calmly. Even if you are who they're after, there's no way some nobody guards would recognize you. Zhuo Fan chuckled and went on ahead with a pleased look. The girl was too dumbstruck to react. Zhuo Fan now looked like a sage of great wisdom and not like the bastard he just played as. Even the girl felt like what happened was ages ago. Zhuo Fan was but a 5th-layer Radiant Stage cultivator, but his confidence and resolve made the girl's heart skip a beat. Also, Zhuo Fan paused, lifting his hands. Try not to get smart when you don't even know yourself. Cleverness may overreach itself, haha. Zhuo Fan walked away laughing. The girl glared and then giggled. Her cheeks were becoming red, and for some odd reason, her heart wouldn't calm down. The sudden arrival of Flying Cloud Manor guards must be the cause. The girl took a deep breath to calm herself and followed Zhuo Fan. The safest place was amidst danger. Seniors, how may I help you? Rushing to the entrance, Zhuo Fan found dozens of soul harmony experts, all wearing the Flying Cloud Manor symbol, a white cloud. Zhuo Fan bowed at once like a humble man. Seeing his meager cultivation, the men ignored him and asked as a formality, "Are you new in town?" "Yes." "Who is this child?" A man pointed at Gu Santong. Zhuo Fan bowed. "Senior, he's my only son." "Where did you come from?" "Western lands." "Why?" "To avoid pursuit." "Are there any other people here?" "What?" Zhuo Fan paused, unsure if the lass would follow him to meet these men. Saying yes but the lass not coming would be ruining himself. But if he denied and then found her, the result would be the same. The guard frowned as he repeated, "Are there any more people here?" "Here I am." The girl rushed over with a bright smile. Chapter 856, Interrogation. Chapter 856, Interrogation. Proofreader, Papatonks. The girl skipped over, bringing with her a fresh breeze. She stopped behind Zhuo Fan with a bashful look, like an innocent girl. The guards were dumbstruck by her behavior, looking lost. It only made the girl feel self-conscious and hide behind Zhuo Fan, like a baby sister oblivious to the world's evil protected by her big brother. The gentle nature instilled in the people a sense of protection. Zhuo Fan was stunned. Hell, this lass is versed in the world and an even better actor than me. He could still remember her outburst from before. He wouldn't tease her for this since they were in the same boat. He just forced a smile and calmed himself. Moments later, the guards woke up and pointed at her. "Is she staying here?" "Yes." The girl's gentle voice echoed, soothing the guards. The guard had to take a moment to recover and pointed at Zhuo Fan. "Who are you two? Why have both of you come from the Western lands?" Zhuo Fan's eyes focused, thinking of a good name for her, but the girl got ahead of him. "He's my husband. We came from Western lands together." "Oh, wait, what?" The men nodded but then froze, looking from one to the other in disbelief. "He's your husband? Why, what's wrong with that?" The girl nodded with a smile, then dragged a stumped Gu Santong next to her. "Look, our child is all grown up." The inspection team was shocked, with Zhuo Fan looking lost. "Hey, chickie, moments ago you were trying to stab me and now you say I'm your man? What are you looking at? You're already getting the best of it by being my husband. What are you crying about? Keep staring and see if I don't poke your eyes out." Glaring at Zhuo Fan, the girl warned as her hand gripped Gu Santong, clearly using him as hostage to force Zhuo Fan. "Fall in line or your son will fall first." Zhuo Fan shook his head inside. He didn't worry about Gu Santong. Not like the lass could do anything to young Sanzi. Zhuo Fan found this trap difficult. He could not admit just any random girl as his wife. Though it was fake, given the circumstances he had to agree if he wanted to get over this mess. Regardless, he could not say it so easily since there was only one person in his heart. He wouldn't want to sully her image even if it was fake. Eyeing the odd couple, a guard asked, Miss, the man is only in the 5th layer radiant stage while you are in the 8th layer ethereal stage." They just couldn't get it. The world had many cultivating couples of different levels, but it was also a world where the man was the head. His power represented his status. There was no woman willing to lower herself to a weaker guy. The odd thing here was not their gap in strength, but the reversed roles of this couple. This could have happened only if the girl was just too damn strong so that she wore the pants in this relationship. Such a woman couldn't have just one guy either. "Miss, with your strength, you must be someone important in Western lands. Can it be you started a harem to replenish your yin and dual cultivate?" the guard asked. The girl blushed hard as she flared, "Why, you're making a harem. We're just a family with a child. How can I do something as vile as replenishing? With how the world is ruled by strength, people would resort to anything for power, even women." The guard had a nasty smile. "Brothers, search the place. If she has a harem, they must be many. There's no way there's just the three of them." "Humph. Yes, sir." The men shouted and shot inside, already on it. The girl's face looked conflicted and depressed. Zhuofan glanced over and sighed. "Even I wouldn't believe you, let alone others, since we're too different in cultivation." Whoosh. An hour later, the guards returned with shaking heads and the main speaker frowned. He refused to believe such a strong woman only had one guy. Zhuofan smiled and stepped forward with a bow. "Senior, please don't listen to her nonsense. She's not my wife." "No?" The guard shook and grew grave. The girl tensed, sweat trickling down. "Is he selling me out? Then who is she? Why is she staying here?" Zhuofan sighed. "Senior, the truth is she is my cousin. Our clan is hunting us, so we had to run here." "Your cousin? Then why did she say she's your wife?" The guard shouted. Turning to the girl, she looked nervous. Zhuofan pondered. "Actually, she does want to be my wife, but my heart belongs to someone else. No other girl can have it. She was only playing a joke before. Please don't mind it, senior. Tell me exactly what is going on here, or I will have her arrested." The guard barked. Zhuofan smiled and nodded. "Yes, of course, senior. Allow me to tell you everything. My cousin and I grew up together, inseparable. I know she loves me, but I could not accept it. Seniors can see that her talent is better than mine, cultivating much faster. That's why I could not accept her love, finding myself undeserving of her." "Oh, we can tell that much. You aren't a fit for her at all." The others nodded. Zhuofan continued. "Then I met a lady at the Ultimate Clarity sect, got married and had a child. But this earned the sect's rage and we were hunted down. I could only take my son and flee all the way to the central area. Fortune was with me for having my cousin along as well to look after me, or we would have died a long time ago. I could never return her feelings and—" Zhuofan turned to the girl. "Cousin, I already have someone I love." "Your love?" Zhuofan sighed, looking elsewhere as he was unable to accept her feelings. The men exclaimed. "Oh, so a love triangle. With this girl being love-stricken. Ha, what a waste of good seed. An 8th-layer ethereal stage expert with pretty looks going after a waste leagues behind her. How can we, experts, find fault in that?" The leader sighed. Another one nodded. "Yeah, it makes too much sense actually. Why did they have to be childhood friends? Brother, the place is clean, or at least the thief would have used some flat excuse, not go for such a convoluted melodrama. Just look at how conflicted they are." They all turned to the two to see Zhuofan's guilty look. The girl's gaze never left him, her eyes glazed over. Fools blinded by love, crashing marriages. The guard shrugged, then the leader coughed. "We understand, then we'll write that. This place belonged to a fellow guard of ours. Since you bought it, it's yours. Now, there's only the three of you here? What are your names?" "Oh, senior, I'm Gu Yifan." Cupping his hands, Zhuofan spoke. "My son is Gu Santong and my cousin." Zhuofan hinted at her. Feeling sour for some odd reason, the girl spoke. "I'm Gu Qingyan." Noted. After writing down on a jade slip, the guard nodded. "From now on, you are the owners of this place. If there's anyone suspicious hanging around, report to the Flying Cloud Manor at once. You can also shout and make some noise. Our patrols will respond swiftly." Zhuofan bowed. "Thank you, senior. Only, what suspicious people?" "You don't know?" The guard mocked. "Homeless, wandering, shifty, repulsive and guilty-looking people. If you see anyone that fits that description, give us a signal. Got it?" "Yes, yes." Zhuofan nodded. The guard smiled, then waved his hand. "Brothers, the next house. Haha, let's see how those thieves can hide as we search every place. Ha ha ha." Chapter 857. One step back, two steps forwards. Chapter 857. One step back, two steps forward. Proofreader, Papatonks. As the laughter grew faint in the distance, the auras of the guards faded as well. The trio watched them go with a sigh of relief. "Now, close the door and see her out." Zhuofan clapped and said. Young Sanzi woke up and pulled the girl posing as his mom outside. Gu Santong didn't use force, just playing the role of a child. Anything else and he'd be throwing her out. The girl was stunned. "What are you doing?" "What you ask?" "Humph. Fan glared at her. Didn't you hear, senior? Meeting any homeless? Wandering, Gu Santong added. Shifty. Repulsive. Guilty-looking people. The father and son finished together as they stared at the girl. Anyone suspicious is to be reported to the Flying Cloud Manor. You should be thankful we're only kicking you out. The two threw her out like nothing, then shut the door behind her. She only woke up from her daze when she was outside. But seeing the door shut, anger burned in her gaze and she kicked the door open. The two held the door and pretended to be shaken from the impact by staggering back. They looked at her in panic. What are you doing? The guards are just around the corner. What of it? That's more than enough time to end your lives. The girl glared. Fan shuddered in fake fear, then wailed, Big sister, we don't know each other. Us two have been drifters for years before finally coming to the central area, avoiding Western Land's pursuit, and starting a new life. We don't want any trouble. I don't know if you're related to the guard's search, but for our safety, please leave. Take it as a returned favor for saving your life. Please don't drag us into this. The girl looked hard at the two, biting her lip. But then she asked, Hey, was what you said true? What did I say? About you and your wife. Did the sect break you up? What about your wife? Startled, Fan didn't think she'd be hung up on that in this critical situation. But it was also related to Fan's pain. Fan mocked all of a sudden, as if, to get them to ignore you, I made that on the spot. While I cast out my wife for better things and a brighter future. She's just a hindrance, that's all. She should be having the time of her life. Pa. The girl gave him a heavy slap in anger. You rotten bastard, I'll kill you for your wife's sake. Her sword was once again pointing at Fan's throat. Fan waved his hands frantically. Wait, attack now and the guards will hear you. And I'm your savior. Attacking me is being ungrateful. Humph, I'll spare you for now, but pray we never meet again. The sword shook and the girl roared as she sped away. I'll never stay a second in a bastard's place, or I'll end up as vile as you. Seeing her vanish in the night sky, her curses growing faint, the duo shared a crafty smile. Dad, are you just going to let her leave after all the trouble of saving her? Leave? Where would she go? Fan raised an eyebrow. Did you forget why the guards came? They are combing through the city. The Flying Cloud Manor wants to have eyes on every corner in the city, on every citizen. The taverns are the most conspicuous, with no way of hiding under such heavy monitoring. Leaving her? Haha, as long as she's in Flying Cloud City, she'll soon come back here. She's got no choice. Gu Santong nodded but wanted more details. But even so, why did we drive her out? Isn't it over the top? Not at all, this is psychological warfare. One step back, two steps forward. Fan's eyes glinted. We didn't kick her out because of her, but the people behind her. Think about it. Since we saved her, but by also hiding her, then we'll become suspicious about having our own designs. Maybe her people will think that we're on the guard's side, baiting them to come out. That will make gaining their trust harder. Now though, we kicked her out like scared average cultivators avoiding trouble, making saving her just a coincidence. As time passes, those people will be pushed into a corner by the guards monitoring and would think of using us, when in fact we're using them. The roles reverse as the schemes become twisted from every little detail, giving us the perfect win. Gu Santong nodded inside. I see it now. You know she can't go anywhere, so might as well kick her out. Also the people behind her would come, right? Haha, exactly. Now's just a matter of time. Fan closed the heavy door and took Gu Santong behind the house. Young Sanzi, where have you gone the last 3 days? I didn't see you at all. Around town, but since they took me for a child, they didn't let me enter many places. You said I couldn't force my way in, so? I'll take you there tomorrow, what do you say? Truly? Of course, we're waiting for news now so we can afford some leisure, haha. Fan smiled at the child. Gu Santong was overjoyed. On the second day, Fan took Gu Santong to every known place in Flying Cloud City. They played around, had fun, not thinking about anything, not bothering with anyone. On the third day, Fan and Gu Santong went to enjoy the local cuisine and the fine dishes, relishing in these rare father-son moments. They put their plan behind them. So it went for 10 days, carefree and relaxed. Only that night, when Gu Santong was skipping towards home with Fan smiling behind, the sudden sight stunned them. The same girl 10 days ago was now back, only this time she looked far more downcast. She hesitated upon seeing them. Fan's face twitched, faking shock. Big sister, what are you doing here? Don't just shout. Her jade sword was out and pointing at Zhuo Fan, though looking awkward as she had to shout with hatred. Listen here, I'll be staying here from now on. You can't kick me out nor report me. Try anything of sorts and I'll kill you. The lass was forced for sure to come back against her will. The father and son mocked her inwardly. Where can an ethereal stage cultivator hide in a city with soul harmony patrols? Instead of acting nice to get a place to stay, you're like a thug stealing it. Would you have been so tough when you left back then if you knew? Would you have still burnt your bridges, haha? Zhuo Fan sighed, Miss, I get your back, but can you not shout at us? I'm not one to look for trouble, but since our lives are in your hands, I don't have a choice. But where did that gentle and kind miss from 10 days ago go? How did you become a shrew stooping so low as to steal someone's home? Shuddering, the girl looked hurt at his words, feeling like the victim instead. You dare say that when you kicked me out? The girl raged. Do you know what I did these 10 days? Skulking like a rat in the streets, scared that every person I met would call the guards. I couldn't go to a tavern, I couldn't stay in another place from fear of being found. Flying Cloud City is so huge yet there is no place that can have me. All I've done is run and run in constant fear. If I hadn't come back, they'd have found me. Yet you call me a shrew. The girl broke down crying. Zhuo Fan sighed inside. She kicked herself out. But only by encountering despair on the streets would she be willing to come back here. Chapter 858, A Family of Three. Chapter 858, A Family of Three. Proofreader, Papatonks. This room will be yours from now on, cousin. Zhuo Fan creaked the door open, showing the same bed where she was healed, while jesting. Scrounging her nose, the girl eyed him with a deep and grateful gaze. After wandering the streets like a dog for days, she now returned to the place where she recovered in peace. Anyone would be touched at this point, feeling like this place was home. Making a flourish, Zhuo Fan invited her in while he left. Looking at him leave, she shouted, I saw you and your son having fun in town these days. Pausing, Zhuo Fan frowned and looked back. You mean we can't? You're very good to your dear son. The girl said, from the 10 days you spent roaming Flying Cloud City, one can see how close the two of you are. Zhuo Fan asked, that's a father for you. What's wrong with that? But you said you abandoned your wife. The girl looked in doubt, going by your close relation with your son, it can't be that you would do such a thing to his mother. Zhuo Fan squinted, women are women and a son is a son. Men are very clear on the differences. What does an unbroken chick know? Rolling his eyes, Zhuo Fan walked away, his eyes glazing with grief as he shook his head. The girl was furious at the taunt, but then thought about it another way. Zhuo Fan was erratic in his affairs, switching tunes at the drop of a hat, making him mysterious in her eyes, that he had secrets. The girl did not enter her room and walked behind the house. The moon hung in the sky above the sea of stars, bringing light to the night. In the backyard, Gu Santong sat at a stone table, playing with a wooden toy, looking rather cute. He might be 3 centuries old, but his puerile nature never changed. Especially the last few days, having Zhuo Fan prioritize leisure activities in the city over work, he felt paternal love after ages. This brought out the child he buried inside, whining to Zhuo Fan to get him some nice toys. He was now having the time of his life, until a girl popped up behind him. Gu Santong frowned but faked oblivion as he played. Zhuo Fan kept telling him to play dumb and act like a wee child. Gu Santong, was it? The girl showed the child a bright smile looking at his toy. Wow, how pretty. Did your dad get it for you? Eyeing her, Gu Santong was vague, get on with it or sleep it off. Fuck. The girl froze at such hostility, her face twitching hard. Why is he so mean? Wait, it's not the child's fault but who he lived with, that guy's bad influence. I must hold it in. Smashing down the anger, the girl showed a kind face as she said, Santong, you shouldn't talk like that to me. It isn't nice. Who in hell would be nice to a broad that tried to kill the both of us? Gu Santong bit back. She almost spat blood in anger, her body shuddering. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. These two's words are so biting, always antagonistic, and it's pissing me off. That's not the problem here, since all is that guy's fault, not the child. I must stay strong. The girl's face twitched like no tomorrow, showing a look worse than crying. Child, can't you use kinder words? I just wanted to ask you. Out with it already? Gu Santong snapped. Outraged, the girl gnashed her teeth. Ah, child, you sure are feisty. Then I'll be frank. Did your dad really abandon your mom? Gu Santong shook then paused from playing. He then nodded, his reply cold, yes. The girl looked disappointed, the outcome out of her presumption. Do you like your mother? Yes. Don't you hate your dad for what he did? No. Why? The girl was stunned. Gu Santong went silent as he stared at the toy in his hand. He sighed, if dad had stayed with mom she would have died. What do you think he should have done? What? The girl stood speechless. Young Sanzi, are you playing there? You're supposed to be in bed at this hour. Zhuo Fan's shout came from afar. Gu Santong ignored the girl and went to Zhuo Fan's room. Dad's calling me. I need to go. Gu Santong's young appearance that contrasted with the upright stance left the girl in stunned silence. The son resembles the father, but not to the extreme. It looks like he isn't as cruel as he lets on. Meanwhile, Gu Santong got in the room to find Zhuo Fan sitting at a table, giving him an annoyed and sad look. What are you doing telling her so much? I just don't want her to curse you every time you meet. What's the problem? I'm no saint either and I've been cursed more than I can count. But I don't want to hear anyone curse my dad. Gu Santong climbed on the bed with a bored look. I used to smash any that cursed you, but since you don't want me to fight, I want to not hear people cursing my dad. Zhuo Fan gave him a long look and nodded. Son. The next morning Zhuo Fan and Gu Santong woke up refreshed from cultivating, welcoming the coming of a new day. Gu Santong smiled, Dad, the broad is back. Are we still toying with her? Of course, the more carefree we are the better. The real fish has yet to bite, haha. Zhuo Fan nodded. Gu Santong cheered in excitement, showing out to be the child he was. Zhuo Fan nodded, enjoying this rare moment of fatherhood. But the girl's gentle figure suddenly popped in his face. Zhuo Fan asked, What are you doing? Me and young Sanzi are going out. Great, now take me with you. The girl gave a bright smile. Zhuo Fan furrowed his brow. Why? Yeah, my dad and I are having fun, so why bring you along to be a stick in the mud? Gu Santong shunned her, making his position clear as day. She wiggled her cute nose, made a pout at the kid, then turned to Zhuo Fan to impose, Who's to say you won't report me once you go out? That's why I have to keep an eye on you. Squinting, Zhuo Fan paused before showing a wide smile. Fine, since Miss wants to, then come along. As long as you don't misunderstand. Misunderstand what? The girl was curious, but Zhuo Fan's reply was a shifty grin. An hour later. Oh, Sir Gu, you brought your son to play again. What a great father you are spending these days with your son. And now you even brought the madam. My sir's madam is a world beauty. No wonder she has been cooped up at home for so long, ha. The trio walked down the street with many shouts aimed at them. Zhuo Fan just replied with a smile and nod. The girl was blushing harder than a tomato. She now realized what he meant and grumbled, Why aren't you saying anything? I'm not your wife but cousin. There's no point talking to these chatterboxes. They'll say whatever they want anyway. And I don't want to talk to some sellers either. Zhuo Fan grinned, his eyes always scanning his surroundings. By his calculations, the girl had been hiding the past days, making it hard for her friends to find her. Now that she walks in broad daylight, they should get in touch. One of the reasons why he accepted to take her along as bait. Stop, who are you people? A patrol came by and barred their way. The girl tensed, ready to bolt, but Zhuo Fan held her. Smiling, Zhuo Fan did the talking, we're the Gu family from a nearby house. Taking a jade slip, the man read it and waved them off. Oh, the new Gu family, Gu Yifan, Gu Santong and Gu Qingyan. You're free to go. The patrol resumed their duty. The girl was stunned. They let us go that easy? Zhuo Fan easily guessed her thoughts. Did you forget we got registered a few days back? That jade slip has our portraits and details. In this flying cloud city we are a family of 3. Then what have I been doing these days, skulking around like a scared mouse? The girl was stumped. Zhuo Fan shrugged. Yeah, why did you run? That's what's called guilty looking. Shifty. Homeless. The father and son enjoyed teasing the hell out of the blushing girl. None of them noticed a pair of eyes watched from a dark corner. Chapter 859, Relative Invasion. Chapter 859, Relative Invasion. Proofreader, Papatonks. Dad, I want this and that. Oh, this as well. In the noisy street, the trio strolled through the shops, like one big happy family. Gu Santong, like any child, would jump around at anything that caught his attention, which was everything. Fan spoiled him like a true rich guy, forking out spirit stones without a twitch, and throwing them to the shopkeeper with an attitude, "I'll take it all, haha." "Thank you, sir." "Thank you." The shopkeepers were overjoyed seeing their profit soar. Gu Santong was having the time of his life with this new batch of toys. The two's happiness was infectious as it finally got through the girl, making her smile. "Candy figurines? Come and enjoy candy figurines." The shouts had Gu Santong turn around with sparkling eyes as he saw an old man in his stall. "Dad, what is that?" "All looks and no substance. You can just ignore it." Fan spoke. But the sweets were all that were reflecting in Gu Santong's childish eyes. The girl lit up and smiled. "Young Sanzi, I'll buy you some, alright?" Gu Santong grumbled, then looked at Fan for permission. "Haha, the girl's a freeloader, so getting something out of her is natural." Fan scratched his nose and teased, "Young Sanzi, go all out and get what you want. Fleece her down to the last stone." Gu Santong bobbed his head in glee, then looked around for his targets, wanting not just the candy but heaps of other stuff. He showed a brilliant smile, extending his cute hand at the girl. The girl's face twitched and glared at Fan. "I just knew you're a bad influence on the child. You're not buying? You liar." Fan twisted his head away, grinning inside. Gu Santong pouted and complained. The kid sure knew how to use his adorable puppy eyes to melt her resistance. And so she nodded with a smile, "Don't worry, young Sanzi, I'll buy it all, ha." She went to the candy cellar but not before glaring at Fan and making faces. It was hard to tell if she was being cute like Gu Santong or plain angry. Fan held Gu Santong's hand as they looked around, enjoying themselves. "How much for a candy?" Whoosh. But then a shadow fell on her, holding her mouth and taking her away. He took but a second to vanish from the crowd. Not even the people near noticed a thing. The seller looked ahead curiously. "Didn't someone call me just now? Am I hearing things? Strange." The seller got over it fast, returning to shouting his wares. Oh. In a dark and desolate corner, the girl struggled in fear under the attacker's hand. But the hand clamped down like an iron vice, not letting a sound escape. She panicked, wanting to unleash her power to break free. There was no point playing now, not when the attacker had to be from the Flying Cloud Manor. "Yenner, it's me." The attacker spoke hastily before she did anything rash. Halting, the girl stopped her resistance at the voice. She instead turned a shocked look at the handsome guy that just let her go. "You're alive, cousin." The father and son were enjoying themselves, but when they looked back they found the girl gone. "Where's the girl gone to?" Gu Santong asked Fan. "Did we scare her off from asking for so many things from her?" Fan staggered and shook his head. "All those things you asked for are barely a few spirit stones, not to mention she's someone important in the eastern lands with her high cultivation. Scaring her off? And where would she be staying if she did?" "Oh right, the past 10 days were spent homeless and in suffering. She doesn't have the nerve to wander around town alone." Gu Santong pondered, then cried, "Did the guards take her?" Fan shook his head. "Flying Cloud Manor is the leader here. Why would they resort to subterfuge when they could just waltz in and grab her? And she came from our place too. If they got her, we'd be in for it as well." I bet this is the hand of her friends." Fan smiled at Gu Santong's lost look. With her walking in broad daylight all casual, her friends must be stunned and wanted to take her for answers. Gu Santong showed a vague smile. "Dad, this time we hooked a big fish." "Yeah, but that will put an end to our vacation." Fan smiled. "Young Sanzi, this may be our last day having fun, so let's make the most of it. I'll take you anywhere you want to go. I heard there's a street packed with food stalls 100 miles east of the town. Let's go eat our fill." "Brat, you only think with your stomach? Food first and then the rest, he he he." Fan and his son walked to their target, having everything under control, enjoying their last day of leisure. Only in the dead of night, with the moon high above them, did they return home. But what welcomed them was a hand grabbing each of their mouths. The door was quickly closed and the soul harmony experts took them into the house. Gu Santong tensed in shock, about to fight back, but Fan looked at him to calm down. The two only put a token of resistance as they got taken. Though they had to do their acting to perfection, trying their best to scream, looking red from their efforts. Finally, the two were taken to the parlor, where two overbearing experts Saturday. A middle-aged man took the main seat, with grizzled temples and sporting a genial face. He was a Genesis stage expert. Fan knew then and there he hooked a big one. The two men saw the owners of the house were here and struggling. He shouted, "Make one peep and you're dead." Zhuofan shuddered in fake fear, nodding his head. "We're the guests here. That's no way to treat a host. And there's a child present as well." The middle-aged man frowned and waved his hand. "Release them. Is this how the name we nurtured for 10,000 years is going to be ruined?" "Yes, clan head." The two bowed and withdrew, leaving Zhuofan and his son. The middle-aged man smiled, but Zhuofan cried out in panic first, "Sirs, you got the wrong guy. I just came from the distant western lands. I don't even know the former owner of this place. Don't take your revenge on me, I'm innocent." "Ha, little brother, you misunderstand. We didn't come for revenge," the middle-aged man smiled. Zhuofan shouted again, "Did you come to rob then? Oh God, I heard Flying Cloud City's security was solid. How did it come to this?" The middle-aged man's face twitched. "Robbery? Revenge would be better. Little brother, listen to me, Big brother, sir, you can see that I'm a meager radiant stage cultivator, not worth anything in Flying Cloud City. I only have my son with me and nothing of value to you. I know I bought a former Flying Cloud Manor guard's house, but I'm not rich. I'm actually dirt poor." Zhuofan kept cutting the man's explanation, crying and whining. Chapter 860, Best Clan in Eastern Lands. Chapter 860, Best Clan in Eastern Lands. Proofreader, Papatonks. Eyes twitching, the man looked at himself, then at the rows of men on either side. "Tell me, do we look like robbers?" The people shook their heads with a genial smile. "Clan head, don't listen to this civilian's nonsense. What does a radiant stage cultivator know?" "Yeah, clan head, just ignore him. Sir's brilliant martial renown is above thievery. He's just scared to death and babbles on." Yeah. Indeed. They all agreed, looking at Zhuofan in disdain and disregard. "You don't have to say that." The middle-aged man shook his hand, turning to Zhuofan. "By barging into this man's home, we invite suspicion of being less than we are. This is excusable. But we are righteous men, forced by circumstances to resort to such debased methods, making us look like killers and criminals. How are we any different then from Shangguan Feiyun that betrayed our clan, our greatest shame?" Clan head is wise. They all stood and bowed to the middle-aged man. The man nodded and smiled. "Little brother, to be honest, we've barged into your peaceful abode from lack of choice. I hope you could let us seek refuge for a few days. I would be most grateful." The middle-aged man stood up and bowed a little to Zhuofan. Zhuofan nodded inwardly. Regardless of methods, he knows how to win someone over, fishing for compliments while also being very wise and worthy of respect. In any case, quite remarkable for a leader. As for the rest. Glancing at the extras, Zhuofan scrunched his nose, waving his hands like a victim. "Big brother, you already have your blade on our necks. I have no choice but to give you shelter, even drag me through the latrine if you want to." The middle-aged man burst out and the rest laughed. "Little brother, no need to be so tense. We'll be gone soon. We're not here to hurt you, just borrowing." "Who would believe that? Any one of you is stronger than me and can kill me with your thumb." Zhuofan complained. "Big brother, where do you come from? You want to know who we are?" Someone shouted at Zhuofan's question, scaring him back and hugging young Sanzi close. Glaring at the speaker, the middle-aged man smiled. "There's no point in hiding it. We're from the Eastern Lands." "Eastern Lands?" Zhuofan pondered, then sighed. "When I was hunted down in the Western Lands, I thought of going through the central area to flee to Eastern Lands, but I'm glad I didn't. It seems Eastern Lands isn't any better than Western Lands for all you experts to resort to this. Eastern Lands must be in dire straits." The middle-aged man almost spat blood, bearing a crestfallen look. "Little brother, after all I've said, you still see us as robbers." How could I?" Zhuofan panicked. "How could I see heroes like yourselves as mere robbers? You're temporary guests, borrowing and taking for now. If this becomes permanent, I won't mind it either." The middle-aged man's face sunk, holding his head and sighed. This great and known clan head was now seen by a little guy as nothing more than a murderer and thief. If Eastern Lands heard it, all the sects would laugh. Shortly after, bright laughter echoed, followed by a familiar girl. "Father, I told you not to see him. He's a petty guy with a nasty tongue, completely opposite of your righteous character. Look at you, a Genesis stage expert angered to the extreme by mere words. Why is that? Ha ha ha." Zhuofan looked to see the mystery girl from before, entering with a handsome youth behind her staring at them with sharp eyes. He was young and already in the soul harmony stage. He'd be a worthy candidate for the title of the best if this was the Western lands. Uncle. The guy bowed before the middle-aged man, ignoring Zhuofan as he returned behind the girl. The middle-aged man chuckled, turning to Zhuofan, "Do you know my daughter, little brother?" Zhuofan bobbed his head with a lost look. "I heard she's your cousin." With a sinister smile, the middle-aged man laughed, "Since I'm her father, that makes me your uncle. An uncle here came to visit his kin, not rob. Is this easier to accept? Ha ha ha." What? Zhuofan gave him a long look then chuckled inwardly. This guy is a man of principles but not pedantic, looking to justify himself. First you take our house and now you write it off as a family visit. How amusing. Big brother? It's uncle. Sighing, Zhuofan put on a strained face as the middle-aged man tried to become Zhuofan Sr. Zhuofan rolled his eyes and returned to the main topic. Us two come from Western lands and only found the girl wounded just as we bought the house. I'm an alchemist and I saved your daughter's life. In the end, when the guards came to search us, your daughter threatened me to bluff my way out, even using my Gu name. It's dangerous enough to hold one person, but now will all of you unknown people in my house if you're found. I understand your concern. The middle-aged man waved with a stern face. Little brother, I know everything from Yenner. As a father, I'm most grateful for sheltering her and saving her life. But our operation has countless lives and Eastern lands at stake. Success is a must. While some decisions are not to my liking, I still have to make them. We must take your house. Because we can't find any better place to stay. You know as well how tight security has become. Because of you, Yenner is now a member of this household. Whether you like it or not, she is above suspicion. Zhuofan choked. Are you saying you'll silence us? That's not it at all. I just hope you will work with us and not force us to resort to such vile acts. The middle-aged man sighed. We won't do anything to you, just keep you here at most. Once our business is done, we'll be out of your hair. But if you wish to work with us, it will make our interactions easier. Since you're my nephew, right? Ha ha ha. Zhuofan hesitated as he looked at Gu Santong, considering his child's safety first. But how can I believe you won't hurt us? With the name of the famed Shangguan clan. The middle-aged man's eyes shone. Zhuofan cried out, Shangguan clan? The same best clan in Eastern lands? Yes, I am Shangguan clan's clan head, Shangguan Feixiong. The middle-aged man declared, then pointed at the girl and youth. She is my daughter, Shangguan Qingyan, and my nephew, Shangguan Yulin. Everyone else is a venerable or elder of the Shangguan clan. Shaking, Zhuofan could hardly believe the best clan of Eastern lands' entire experts were here en masse. That means that Shangguan Feiyun, one of the 9 sword kings, is your younger brother. Shangguan Feixiong gnashed his teeth. But ever since he betrayed Eastern lands, casting his lot with invincible sword, I no longer have a brother. We came here to take back the Eastern lands treasure he stole. Little brother, I hope, on account of the alliance between the 4 areas, that you'd help hide us. Zhuofan's heart sank, looking into Shangguan Feixiong's wise eyes, and nodded. Don't worry, uncle, we're all on the same side. I will definitely help the Shangguan clan succeed. Wait, what? His heroic valor got Shangguan Feixiong to nod in reflex. But then he cried out, startled, What did you call me? Zhuofan scratched his nose with a chuckle. Uncle, didn't you see yourself as such? Did you forget already? Zhuofan patted Gu Santong's head proudly. Young Sanzi, we're hailing for a renowned clan. Once we return with uncle to Eastern lands, none shall pick on us. We'll see if they dare lay a finger on us after uttering the name Shangguan. We're no longer vagrants, ha ha ha. Yeah, let's also go slaughter Western lands later, kill all our pursuers. Gu Santong bobbed his cute head, bearing a nasty smirk. Everyone else looked on, speechless. For crying out loud. One moment they were scared like mice and now they have no shame with power behind them. Chapter 861, Opportune Nephew. Chapter 861, Opportune Nephew. Proofreader, Papatonks. Everyone looked dumbstruck at the crass father-son pair. What's wrong with these two? They have yet to come from old money and power, yet they're acting more obnoxiously than a clan with a deep heritage. What? Drop the Shangguan clan's name around so no one will pick on you. I bet you're planning the opposite, to use the name to pick on people. We came from the renowned Shangguan clan in the Eastern lands, but we're educated and know honor. We definitely won't let some disrespectful guys like you ruin our good name. Everyone turned to Shangguan Feixiong. Clan head, you started it, now finish it. Shengguan Feixiong shook his head, his face twitching. There was no way he would just accept someone as his nephew. He only used it as a leverage to become friends, but how was he to know there was such a brazen guy in the world trying to leverage him instead? He's just a punk. I didn't think the owner of the house would be a bastard. As everyone had nothing but contempt for the two, Shengguan Qingyan laughed. Having been around them the past few days, this Missy had gotten quite friendly, or maybe she understood them the best. Seeing them declare this with a straight face, she liked it. Hey, how about you become my real cousin? Zhuo Fan turned to her and shook his head. Who the hell would? It's that I don't have a choice. Shengguan Feixiong would be pissed if she could hear him. Oh please, for me to accept you as one is the greatest fortune of your lifetime. It's leapfrogging into power, yet you freaking shun it? You're nothing but a moron. Which was a moot point since he didn't know where to begin. He only felt that taking this pair into his fold would be the greatest mistake of his life. But as the leader, his word was gold. Once spoken, he couldn't just take it back. He sighed. Then you will become Shengguan clan's front, blocking the Flying Cloud Manor's investigation. When we all go to Eastern lands, you'll be rewarded for your efforts. Yes, uncle. With a genial smile, Zhuo Fan was open in his attempts. Shengguan Feixiong only felt pain instead. He looked from his real nephew, showing valor and attitude, then at the new one with a shrewd gaze and wretched looking. He'd better brace himself for when he returned home for a world of humiliation. Sighing, Shengguan Feixiong waved his hand, tired like never before. Since we're now in understanding, you are dismissed. Shengguan Feixiong stood and walked towards the backyard. Uncle, let me get you a nice room. Zhuo Fan skipped next to him, like the most obvious toad there was, beaming. Ha, allow your nephew to lead you. No, we already got our rooms. You just have to play your part. Shengguan Feixiong shunned him. Zhuo Fan just didn't know when to quit. How can I? I have to do my duty for the family. Screw your duty. That was just a blunder of mine. Rolling his eyes, Shengguan Feixiong wanted to push Zhuo Fan away, but Zhuo Fan stuck with him with his nauseatingly sweet flatteries. It only vexed the clan head more. Bam. With a sudden sound, Zhuo Fan was suddenly pushed back hard. Looking up, he found the genuine cousin there. Shengguan Yulin gave him a cold gaze, then took Shengguan Feixiong's arm and left. This time he didn't refuse. The rest shrugged at the event, mocking Zhuo Fan as they left. It just so happened that some of the mockery reached the duo's ears. Humph, a social climber who doesn't know when to quit. Shengguan clan will be shamed now, having these thugs. Exactly, but what can you do? They just got lucky to meet us when we need them, ha ha ha. The name of Shengguan clan is enough for these fools for several lifetimes. Gu Santong clenched his fists, but Zhuo Fan pulled him back. Young Sanzi, now I'm your real aunt, hi hi hi. Shengguan Qingyan skipped over with glee, holding young Sanzi's face with a smile. Young Sanzi looked at her with a cold gaze and slapped her hands away. You're no aunt of mine. Gu Santong gave her the cold shoulder as he left. Zhuo Fan sighed inside. Invincible Scamp had never been so humiliated in his life. It's all for the sake of the mission? Maybe I should have just left him with Kunpeng. He's too young and Kunpeng won't touch him yet. There at least he's king. I shouldn't make choices for young Sanzi, whether good or wrong. Shengguan Qingyan looked stunned. What's with young Sanzi? Did I say something? It's not you. You know kids so volatile. Don't mind it. Zhuo Fan went after Gu Santong. I'll look after him. See you. Seeing them go, Shengguan Qingyan looked concerned. A tall man loomed from behind Shengguan Yulin, smiling at her lost look. Cousin, what are you looking at? I was just wondering why young Sanzi looked so annoyed. Annoyed? Haha, for a pair of greedy people, getting into Shengguan clan should be a moment of celebration. What's there to be annoyed about? Shengguan Yulin sneered. Shengguan Qingyan glared at him. What do you know? They aren't like that. No? They just acted like brazen and obnoxious people. Anyone could see it. Why is it only you taking their side? You don't know anything. Shengguan Qingyan flicked her head away in annoyance. I've been around them for the past days and they're kind and cherish one another, and not power-hungry people. If they were, they'd long since reported me to Flying Cloud Manor. That's because they were weak, afraid you'd kill them. No, they were never afraid or tense around me. In fact, they always had biting remarks, pissing me off. Shengguan Qingyan was firm. They have their own problems. The jeers and harsh tones are only a front. Don't misunderstand them. Cousin, why do you always side with others? There no others, haven't you heard Dad calling Sergu nephew? That's just the shameless punk trying to squeeze his way into the clan. Uncle is a man of virtue, not for someone like that thug to get close to. I told you, don't judge a book by its cover. Shengguan Qingyan glared and left. Shengguan Yulin's eyes flashed with anger, his fists clenched. I'll deal with you soon, you damn bastards. Just you wait. Zhuofan was back in his room and saw Gu Santong on the bed with sad look as he lay on the pillow. Zhuofan patted his back and chuckled, What's wrong, brat, angry? Haha, think about it. They mock us for our weakness. It's this weakness that will drop their guard and earn their trust. That when we use them to punch through. We're deceiving them, we should be the one laughing at them. Those morons, haha. Gu Santong began after a long pause, We're being watched by 5 soul harmony experts not 100 meters away. I know. We're outsiders, so of course they won't believe us. They fear we'll snitch. But they're wrong. Don't you think having 5 of them watching us is kind of small? Zhuofan showed a devious grin, winking at Gu Santong. Gu Santong smiled at last, Yeah, I can deal with 5 in one punch. Meanwhile, Shengguan Feixiong entered into a dark room. 3 elders were already here, sitting on the bed with eyes closed. Feixiong, what is it? One spoke. Bowing, Shengguan Feixiong's tone was respectful. Venerables, the owner of the house is a nobody. He even has an 8-year-old son. We can relax for now and deal with Feiyun. Good, we'll use this foothold to make a second ambush. One elder shouted, This time, we will take the divine weapon back to eastern lands. Chapter 862, Just Wait. Chapter 862, Just Wait. Proofreader, Papatonks. Morning, seniors, haha. Bright and early, Zhuofan and young Sanzi were heading towards the door and were startled to see someone already there. But that didn't stop him from greeting with a smile. The exit had guards in place, soul harmony experts with mighty auras. Glancing over, the 2 men put their hand out, blocking the way. Zhuofan looked at them puzzled as they mocked. Sorry, Sergu, you're the clan head's nephew. For your safety, it's best you stay inside. Oh, I see, now I'm someone of value, haha. Zhuofan gave a strained laugh. You're taking our safety very seriously, I see. Why thank you. Bobbing his face with a bright smile, Zhuofan took young Sanzi back, not thinking of leaving again. The men held nothing but disdain for the 2. Gu Santong looked bleak, gnashing his teeth. Damn these bastards, they take our home and now are locking us in. Easy now, young Sanzi. Didn't I tell you already? Yesterday was going to be our last day of leisure. With a sinister smile, Zhuofan continued, Which works best for us. They want to keep us here, so we'll use this to see their every move. Once they act and fight with the flying cloud manner, we'll be sure to reap the rewards, completing our mission. Gu Santong nodded, but that didn't mean he liked it. With these cowards, who knows how long we'll be stuck here before that happens. Haha, these blokes won't last long. The more they wait, the more dangerous it gets. They're more desperate than us to finish and go home. Rubbing Gu Santong's head, Zhuofan's eyes shone, feeling in complete control of everything. All we have to do now is just wait. Gu Santong sighed a nod. Let's go back to our cell. Not like I haven't done it in Chanyu. Did you come from outside? The 2 were startled by a bright voice. Turning around, they saw the young miss. First came her unique fragrance, then Shengguan Qingyan's graceful figure. Seeing Gu Santong, she went for a hug, pinching his cheeks. Young Sanzi, did you miss Andy last night? Zhuofan rolled his eyes. Hey lady, it's only been a night, not years. Not even your relatives will miss you. And you're not close to young Sanzi anyway. Who'd ever miss you? Gu Santong was of the same mind, judging by that cold look. Who'd ever miss you? What? That one went straight to her heart as Shengguan Qingyan showed a bitter smile. Young Sanzi, you're still so stubborn. Let go of me. I'm going back to sleep. Gu Santong huffed, looking elsewhere. Shengguan Qingyan was stumped. Why is he so cold to me and angry? Who is he angry at? Glancing at Zhuofan, he chuckled, Don't mind it, he's just being a brat. I promised to take him out to play, but you know how I'm now a new man with the clan worried for my safety. So I have to stay inside for now and the child. They're holding you here? Shengguan Qingyan exploded. This is your home and we're just guests. How can they do this? That's just crossing the line. Humph, Shengguan clan isn't so shameless. Young Sanzi, don't worry, Auntie here will take you out. Shengguan Qingyan carried Gu Santong as she marched for the door, a woman on a crusade. Zhuo Fan smirked, enjoying the show that followed. Young miss. The two men bowed before Shangguan Qingyan, unlike how they treated Zhuo Fan. Shangguan Qingyan barked, "What do you think you're doing? This is the Gu household, so why are you stopping the two of them? Are you settling in the role of robbers, taking another's home? Have you forgotten all the values Shangguan clan stands for?" "Young miss, please." The two bowed again, feeling conflicted. It's clan head's order. We're just the messengers. Shangguan Qingyan's brow shook. Dad? No way. He clearly said to look after the father and son, to be friendly. He even sees him as nephew. Yeah, it must be that clan head was worried for his new nephew that he didn't want him to go out. The town isn't safe. Bullshit. Shangguan Qingyan cut them off with her outburst. You can't lie to me. They have nothing to do with the Shangguan clan. No one's after them in Flying Cloud City. You're just trapping them here. Humph, I brought you all here and this is what you do? It is my duty to hold the true owner of this house's side. Now shove off. I'm taking young Sanzi and Sir Zhuo for a walk. Frowning, the two were very conflicted, indecisive. Zhuo Fan looked from the side. He wanted Shangguan clan to pave his way, but it wasn't bad making waves and stirring things up either. Lest some guy from the Shangguan clan wanted to push him around. If he didn't stand out, he'd suffer. This noise came at the best time, showing everyone Shangguan clan's young miss was on their side and scaring off some bored chaps looking for trouble. Zhuo Fan simply watched the show unfold with a hidden smile. As the situation became tense, a shout came, "Cousin, uncle is calling you. The Gu father and son can come as well." The two men sighed. The clan head finally asked for young miss. It was getting a bit too tense for them, having to choose between duty and respect. "I'll go see Dad and then we'll go out." Glaring at them, Shangguan Qingyan hugged Gu Santong as she went. "Sir Gu will explain it all to Dad." Zhuo Fan nodded, walking behind her. Bam. Something blocked his view, then, knocking into it and stumbling 5 steps back. It was Shangguan Yulin. Zhuo Fan sneered inside. Here it comes, making it hard on me. First last night and now today. He's clearly looking for trouble. Shangguan Qingyan was enraged, holding Gu Santong as she went, while oblivious to Zhuo Fan's predicament. Shangguan Yulin watched her go, then mocked Zhuo Fan. "Stay away from young miss. Wretched social climbers like you two won't get anywhere." Shangguan Yulin left after that. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, staring hard at him, then he shook his head. Such are clansmen, empty of talent yet full of conceit and petty. While you're looking after the Shangguan clan's name, I have a way bigger goal in mind. Zhuo Fan shook his head before going as well. People gathered into the parlor, where Shangguan Qingyan and Shangguan Feixiong were already present. Seeing her dad, Shangguan Qingyan started whining. "Haha, alright, I was only thinking of the two's safety. I'll make sure to berate those insensible men." Shangguan Feixiong was a leader after all, easily handling this trifle. Then he turned to Zhuo Fan. "Yifan, you're part of the Shangguan clan now and must shoulder the burden. None of us can walk outside and the task of gathering information falls to you. Qingyan Yulin, you'll provide assistance in the light and in shadows." Shangguan Qingyan lit up. "Then young Sanzi can go outside." "Of course." Shangguan Feixiong smiled. "I said that they misunderstood my intention. I never wanted to hold the two here." "Great." Shangguan Qingyan cheered, hugging young Sanzi close. Young Sanzi was also smiling. Only Zhuo Fan had a calculative look. Chapter 863, Only Him. Chapter 863, Only Him. Proofreader, Papatonks. A family of 3 was seen walking down the bustling street, the picture of happiness. Zhuo Fan and Shangguan Qingyan held Gu Santong's hands between them. The image of the parents taking their child to play earned the jealousy of many, especially from bachelors. And even more so from a certain shadow from a certain corner, gnashing his teeth with bloodshot eyes. Shangguan Feixiong had them go out to gather info, since everyone else was too conspicuous with their build and aura. The Flying Cloud City's guards would find them on the spot. Being in the radiant stage and ethereal stage, the lovely family blended naturally in the urban jungle, raising no eyebrows and no warning. Even the Shangguan Yulin, a fresh soul harmony stage cultivator, found nothing wrong with this picture. The 4 of them thus went out as scouts, making it look easy. Which it was, since no one minded a few ants. They acted on 2 fronts, Shangguan Yulin in the shadows while the family in the open. Which was the only choice, since Zhuo Fan was recorded to be the owner of that house. Shangguan Yulin was a vagrant. And while the patrol might ignore his cultivation, the papers showed he wasn't on them. So, what could an undeclared bachelor supposed to do? Slunk from the shadows with tears of jealousy streaming down his cheeks at others' happiness. Dad, that one? Here. Auntie, I want one. Here. Dad, Auntie, I want everything. Give me all of them. Zhuofan and Shengguan Qingyan looked quite happy holding Gu Santong's hands. Only Shengguan Yulin was their complete opposite. The worst thing wasn't seeing the person he admired being with another man, but being unable to block it. This helplessness was driving Shengguan Yulin nuts. Who told him to be a vagrant anyway? All that a shadow could do was just bottle it up. Damn. The sudden sounds of a gong captured the people's attention and the family of three approached the source. It was an announcement with a Soul Harmony stage guard banging the gong. With all gathered, the man ahemed before announcing, "People of Flying Cloud City, take heed, a message from the Imperial Capital. Sword Star Empire's best talent, His Highness the Crown Prince, has suffered from cultivation deviation and his dantian is ruined. Countless alchemists had lent a hand but nothing they did helped. Now we are welcoming any and all alchemists from all over to the Imperial Capital to consult. If any of you have the skills, you can report to the Flying Cloud Manor. After careful screening we will then recommend you to Imperial Capital. Whether you can heal Crown Prince or not, your future will be assured. Don't let this chance pass you by." The crowd's eyes shone with ambition. In the central area there were no sects, only the Sword Star Empire ruling supreme. Getting a job in the Imperial Capital would set them for life. Whispers spread around with many looking excited like they were bound to win. Zhuofan just squinted in thought. Whether the Crown Prince's situation is real or not, it's also a great chance to slip into Flying Cloud Manor. Getting an early grasp of the terrain and assets would make his mission that much easier. Cousin. Shengguan Qingyan looked excited, but she didn't speak before making sure there was no one around. "We've been walking for a while now. Let's go back, young Sanzi must be tired." Eyeing her, Zhuofan knew exactly what she wanted to report. Zhuofan nodded and they went back. A sudden shadow flashed by them after a few steps, vanishing them from the street and taking them into a dark corner. Shengguan Qingyan asked, "Cousin? You go back with the child. I need Brother Gu for a moment." Shengguan Yulin was tense. "I saw some people from Flying Cloud Manor moving around in secret but I can't do much as I am. I want Brother Gu to cover for me to investigate." Shengguan Qingyan took it at face value and nodded, "All right, but you have to stay safe, cousin. You must bring Sir Gu back safely. He's just a radiant stage cultivator. Anyone can beat him." "Don't worry, cousin, he'll be back safe and sound." With resentment in his eyes, Shengguan Yulin put on a smile. Shengguan Qingyan chuckled, while Zhuofan could read more into it, though too curious about his plan to expose him. Shengguan Qingyan took Gu Santong back while Shengguan Yulin grabbed Zhuofan's arm towards a forest with a brutal gaze. Flying Cloud Manor is recruiting alchemists. Shengguan Qingyan started at the news, then turned serious. "Yenner, is this true?" Shengguan Qingyan nodded, blurting, "Yes, the whole street heard it." "Then it must be real." Shengguan Feixiong's eyes flashed. "This is our best chance to get into the manor. But what if it's a trap?" Shengguan Feixiong then looked around. "Where's Yulin?" Cousin found clues into the manor and wanted Gu Yifan to cover for him. Yulin has always been level-headed. He must have his reasons for doing this. Gu Yifan will be fine with him. Shengguan Feixiong squinted, mulling over this information before walking outside. He went to a familiar room where the three old men Saturday. Bowing, Shengguan Feixiong made his report and added, "I'm yet unclear if this is a chance or a trap. Danger and opportunity often walk hand in hand." An elder spoke, "Regardless, this is our chance to scout the manor. It's far better than going in head first. We lost too many last time, with even your daughter suffering a heavy wound, threatening her life. We shouldn't have taken the kids with us." Shengguan Feiyun shook his head. "Venerable, the Shengguan clan isn't afraid of death, nor are we conceited. The same goes for my daughter. I brought them along because Shengguan Feiyun doesn't know them but can keep a lookout for us. Last time they followed our trail and attacked our base, scattering the kids. But this time we're thorough and won't be as dangerous." "I hope so." The elder sighed. "We were indifferent to having them at first, coming to the central area with the intent to take the divine weapon even in death. But they are still young, they are the future of the eastern lands. I can't bear to see them go." Shengguan Feixiong nodded. Another elder spoke. Second, none of us can leave if we want to now. Why talk about it then? Our goal is to find where the divine weapon is located. The fact that it recruits alchemists is a chance for us regardless of anything. But who can we entrust with infiltrating the manor? None of us can go, since even after 100 years since Shangguan Feiyun left Eastern lands, he'd still remember us. No matter how we try to hide, he'll find us. Shangguan Feixiong frowned. That means we can only give it to a junior. But who among them has the alchemical skills to get into the manor? The men shook their heads. Our clan has many talents in cultivation, but none in alchemy. Yeah, alchemy is related to cultivation, skill and arts to become a grandmaster. The elder sighed. Alchemists will flock to Flying Cloud Manor with this announcement. Without the power of a soul harmony stage, it's difficult to stand out. We can only have Yulin try, Shangguan Feixiong muttered. The three elders nodded helplessly. He may not be an alchemist, he's the only choice among the juniors. Chapter 864, 50-Mile Plant. Chapter 864, 50-Mile Plan. Proofreader, Papatonks. Does that mean the Crown Prince's situation is a lie? In a wide and lavish hall, sparkling with wealth, a handsome man sat in the seat of honor. With a teacup in hand, his eyes crackled with lightning as he looked at the seat left of him. The calm and smiling youth there looked like even a slight breeze would topple him, lacking the bold air a man would have. Though his eyes told another story, making the middle-aged man turn serious and not disregard him. Prime Minister, sir, what act are you enacting? With a wide grin, the youth turned to the seat of honor. Haha, that would be my line, Sword King Feiyun. 2 months ago there was some loud ruckus coming from the hundreds of experts entering the manor. Why is it that the Sword King didn't inform the imperial capital? One of them was the best in Eastern lands, now turned traitor, Shangguan Feiyun, and the other Sword Star Empire's Prime Minister, Bailey Jingwei, one of the very few able to wield power equal to 9 Sword Kings. Bailey Jingwei came from the very distant imperial capital and straight to Flying Cloud Manor. The moment he entered, he ordered the guards to announce alchemist recruitment for the Crown Prince's situation. Now he was saying it was all fake. Shangguan Feiyun was pissed, to say the least, as well as the youth ordering everyone around like this was his own home. Hey, I get you're the Prime Minister, but then you come to my turf and start barking orders to my men. It was fine if it was critical, but this here was some baffling ploy, and the suddenness of it all and without a word made him feel that he was played with. Anyone would be angry at this point. Just some minor vermin I had to deal with. There was no need informing the imperial capital of this trifle. Shangguan Feiyun eyed him coldly, then looked to the right seat. By telling the imperial capital all that crops up will make the 9 Sword Kings look incompetent. Wouldn't you say so, Brother Danqing? Drinking from a yellow gourd without a care, at Shangguan Feiyun's question, the man stopped drinking. Belching, Danqing Shen rubbed his red nose, feeling tipsy. Brother Feiyun, this is between you and Prime Minister Bailey, not me. You guys talk it out and don't involve me. I'm just an escort. I still have to get Prime Minister to Imperial Capital safely, ha. Thank you, Dragon-Cleaving Sword King, but I'm sure the trip will be quiet and won't disturb you. Bailey Jingwei leaned a bit and nodded before turning to the host. Shangguan Feiyun, don't mince words. If those were but small thieves 2 months ago, why is it that the guards are looking tense and silent? Why else would you have asked Dragon-Cleaving Sword King for protection? Shangguan Feiyun's eyes shook, his mood sinking. Bailey Jingwei stood up and smiled. Sword King and I are more than clear that it was the Shangguan clan who was behind it. Their goal is to take back the same treasure you brought from Eastern lands, the Soaring Sword. Patriarch had long since wanted to gather the other area's divine swords. Sword King's feat is truly commendable. Patriarch would be most pleased at the news. Taking Patriarch's stead, allow me to bow to you, Sword King. Thank you for donating the sword. Bailey Jingwei bowed to Shangguan Feiyun. Shangguan Feiyun's eyes shook, somewhat touched by the perfect bow of the youth. Bailey Jingwei stood up with a flat look. However, Patriarch is in seclusion and is unaware of this matter, needing me to take the sword. Wouldn't Patriarch's joy plunge knowing that in this time the divine sword ended up stolen? He would surely explode. Humph, are you using the invincible sword to threaten me? Shangguan Feiyun slammed the table and shouted. Bailey Jingwei shook his head with a sigh. The Patriarch himself appointed Sword King Feiyun as a Sword King, together with the imperial family. This is not my intention at all. I'm only extrapolating. When Patriarch is angry, it won't be just a Sword King affected, but the entire empire. I only ask for help in the matter of the crown prince. He cannot set foot outside, his grave situation having spread to the entire central area, all to help the Sword King remove all thieves and secure the divine sword. It affects both of us and cooperation is most advised. Eyeing him, Shangguan Feiyun pondered as his rage subsided. What good would spreading this do? They're no fools to fall for it and attack Flying Cloud Manor. Haha, it's alright, Sword King. I'm certain that as we screen alchemists, we'll be trapping the Shangguan thieves. Snickering, Bailey Jingwei's eyes flashed. People don't do crime out of stupidity but out of greed. Greed is humanity's most base trait. None can escape its clutches. I know from their first ambush of the manor they suffered heavy casualties. The second ambush would fail if they come without a plan, but it will also make it less likely to end them all. So it's better to give them a chance to slip in, luring them with the sword by screening alchemists. Once they come, we will trap them like rats with none coming out alive. This will cripple the power of Eastern lands by damaging the top clan. It will prove beneficial for our future advancement into Eastern lands. Shangguan Feiyun looked at him hard and nodded. Prime Minister wants not just the soaring sword, but to take precautions for when you attack Eastern lands. Haha, didn't I tell you? Greed is the basest trait of humans, one that even I can't escape from. Bailey Jingwei's eyes glinted with wisdom. This is the perfect moment to shoot two birds with one stone. Shangguan Feiyun nodded. I am in awe of Prime Minister's wisdom. But the Shangguan clan has no alchemists. Would they take the bait? It's because it doesn't fit them, which makes it more real and enticing. Bailey Jingwei said, worry not, paving the way to people in crisis will only scare them away. The harder the journey, the more they'll consider it. Sir Sword King, I ask that you give me the power to command the guards, loosen security and recall patrols. I promise by this time next fortnight, all the rats will be found and removed. Shangguan Feiyun gave his accord. Bailey Jingwei showed a pleased smile. Sir Sword King, I heard the manor has a true marvel, no less than the imperial capital's ringing thunder temple. May I see it? Prime Minister, you're most welcome. The guards will take you. Shangguan Feiyun nodded. Bailey Jingwei bowed and walked. Thank you. Dragon-cleaving Sword King, don't you want to look as well? Haha, I'm only into books, painting and wine. Prime Minister may enjoy himself alone. Bailey Jingwei turned to Danqing Shen, who waved him off as he drank. Bailey Jingwei shook his head and left. Ha, what a shame, books and paintings are tied to marvels of nature. When he was gone, Shangguan Feiyun squinted and sighed. Brother Danqing, see that? Look how much Bailey Jingwei and even the imperial capital revere us, and now look at all the spies they placed around. The minute something happens, the imperial capital is bound to know it the next. Humph, and they call us 9 Sword Kings. We're nothing more than generals in the army. Danqing Shen shook his head and sighed. It doesn't matter how many spies are there, as long as I can keep it safe. I never pegged you for an idealist wanting to build utopia. I didn't follow Invincible Sword for an insipid and useless title like Sword King, but to stand next to the strongest to find my own land. Shangguan Feiyun's eyes flashed. The day will come when I'll wield the soaring sword and rule Eastern lands. Danqing Shen put down the wine and mocked. Eastern lands as ruler? Don't let fantasy consume you. The day will come when the whole world will be sword star empires. We'll be nothing more than some governor of a slice at the most, not rulers. That's you. Shangguan Feiyun glared at him. I won't, absolutely won't. Chapter 865, Backstab. Chapter 865, Backstab. Proofreader, Papatonks. Whoosh. Deep in a thick forest, two shadows cut through the trees, before finally stopping and revealing their features. One, looking imposing and having sharp features with soul harmony stage aura, was Shangguan Yulin. The other, looking plain yet having deep eyes, was Zhuo Fan. Looking ahead, Zhuo Fan feigned puzzlement when seeing the bamboo. Cousin, what's odd here? I can't see anything out of place. Who the hell's your cousin? This rotten bastard knows only how to claw his way up through another's power. That's why she fell for his fancy speech. Shangguan Yulin rolled his eyes, but didn't show his anger. Brother Gu, when I watched the guards, I thought I saw them pass through here. I couldn't look alone, so I brought you along. If you meet them, just say you're here for the view, ha ha ha. Really? But I don't see any signs of people around. Zhuo Fan frowned, his eyes darting around. Shangguan Yulin pushed him lightly with a vile smile as he enticed. Look ahead, there's definitely some guards here. Go see what they're doing and help report to Uncle for merit. Then I shall, Zhuo Fan took slow steps walking forward. Shangguan Yulin, however, did the opposite, getting some distance and watching Zhuo with a cold gaze. There was even some bloodthirst mixed in there. Oh! Shangguan Yulin sent a sudden palm to Zhuo Fan's back. Zhuo Fan cried out. He knew Shangguan Yulin was up to something, but not so soon. He wasn't the only one in this, but the entire Shangguan clan's safety would be affected. If something happened to the Gu family of Flying Cloud City, the manor would definitely investigate it. Next was obvious, fleeing like rats, especially now when they were at their weakest. Shangguan Yulin was no moron to not realize the consequences. Zhuo Fan frowned, stuck in hesitation. To dodge or not? Dodging would expose his level and he might have to silence the kid. But he'd also had to make up a damn good excuse to avoid Shangguan clan's suspicion. The other option. How was he to react if it hit? As a Radiant Stage, Ethereal Stage, or Soul Harmony Stage cultivator? Well, his body was as tough as a Soul Harmony expert now. The problem wasn't the hit, but what came after. Well, he'd just wing it. If found out, killing him is still on the table. Zhuo Fan's vexation was unrelated to his safety, but his reaction. Shangguan Yulin would have been so pissed if he knew. He was a strong and outstanding member of the Shangguan clan's younger generation, widely known throughout eastern lands. Now this pipsqueak didn't give a whit about the backstab but how to fool him instead. The fact he entertained the thought of silencing him as well was what really took the cake. How conceited can you get? Not that it mattered since it was all hypothetical. Oh. Zhuo Fan looked stunned for a moment, then reacted, sensing the biting wind on his back. It won't take the life of a Radiant Stage cultivator as it is. He's not out to kill me at least, but wound me. Let's play along and then? Zhuo Fan made a plan and struck his body, giving himself a flesh wound and showing some blood from his mouth. Only then did Shangguan Yulin's palm strike. Bam. At least he got the timing right, spitting blood right as the attack hit and crumbling on the ground in feigned faint. Snickering like a fox, Shangguan Yulin muttered, "Damn bastard, I warned you to stay away from my cousin. You brought this on yourself, humph." Shangguan Yulin walked over to Zhuo Fan, his right hand growing cold. Sensing the chill behind him, Zhuo Fan was stumped. What's he trying to do now? Punk, don't think for a second that by being the Shangguan clan's cover, no one will touch you. With a cold glint in his eyes, Shangguan Yulin lifted his icy hand with a creepy grin. "We may need you for cover and can't kill you, but that doesn't mean we can't hurt you. This crippling hand of mine is nothing fancy, but at least it leaves no tracks. I just need to press your major pressure points and your meridians will rot. In 10 days your yuan qi flow will fall. In 20 days your cultivation will plunge. In a month you'll be a full-fledged cripple. And the best part, you'll never know why. A cripple, even as part of the Shangguan clan, will have no right to be around cousin." Humph, what a joke, ha. There's still clues leading to today though. Aren't you scared Shangguan Feixiong will notice your rotten character and won't let his daughter around you? A heavy and gruff voice entered his ears. Not even that worked to wipe the smug smile off Shangguan Yulin's face. As if, since I thought it through. The punk didn't see who struck him. I'll just say we met with a patrol and in the fight he was backstabbed before bringing him back. Uncle might doubt his crippled status, but will think it had something to do with today's wound. He'll never place the blame on me. Wait, who are you? Shangguan Yulin's laughter got stuck in his throat. Who said that? Hi kid, seeing you so devious, petty, greedy, immoral and cocky, you're right in tune with my demonic path. Why not leave the Shangguan clan and join me down the path of evil? Whoosh. A shadow shrouded the sky, turning everything pitch black and cutting Shangguan Yulin off from reality. Shangguan Yulin panicked, domain soul. But then he mocked, "You think you can contend with me, a soul harmony expert, by using a domain in the ethereal stage? Ah, you wish? I'll break it with this punch." Shangguan Yulin did just that. Dragon trapping chain. The voice came before he could finish the attack. Whoosh. Something huge slithered around his body and seeped into his body and blocking his yuan qi in place. A great power fell on him, stopping him from even budging. Shangguan Yulin, a soul harmony expert, found himself trapped and cried, What is this? Hi kid, the world is far and wide. Not all ethereal stage cultivators are weaker than soul harmony cultivators. You're too cocky." The creepy voice echoed around, filling Shangguan Yulin with fear. Who is he? How does he have such a strange skill? This never happened before. No soul harmony expert ended up trapped by a mere ethereal stage cultivator's domain soul. Shangguan Yulin's heart shivered with dread. Looking around, all he saw was darkness, and the unknown only fed his fears. While he was blind as a bat, the other side saw clearly. Smirking at Shangguan Yulin being squeezed by the chain, Zhuofan's eyes flashed with a toying gaze. His voice was gruff. "Kid, I find your wretched and debased style reminding me of my olden days. Those were the days. I'll make an exception and take you in, so kowtow 100 times and call me master, ha." Chapter 866, Play. Chapter 866, Play. Proofreader, Papatonks. 100. Shangguan Yulin's face twitched in anger as he snapped, "In your dreams. Do you have any idea who I am? I am the best genius in Shangguan clan, of ultimate honor. Why the hell would I bow to you?" "Haha, kid has some spunk." Zhuofan mocked from the shadows. "I know everything about you, how many you are and where you're hiding. I'm not scared of Shangguan Feixiong, let alone a kid like you. Having you kowtow is my way of appreciating you. But since you don't want to..." Zhuofan paused for effect. Bam. A huge dragon tail lashed at his cheek, leaving a red welt with blood seeping from his mouth. There were even some teeth mixed with the blood, clattering to the ground. Pain assaulted his senses, with half his face double the other. Shangguan Yulin shuddered, his eyes tearing, his mouth shivering. What are you doing? Why did you hit me?" You have the nerve to ask why." Zhuofan snickered. "I've always been conceited, looking down on every youth who wanted to learn from me. Now that I found a good seed, you actually dare refuse me?" Bam. Another tail lash struck the other cheek and relieving him of a few more teeth. Lips quivering, Shangguan Yulin's heart was against it. "I, Shangguan Yulin, appreciate your care, but I can't accept it. I'm part of the Shangguan clan, I..." Bam. Zhuofan kept lashing his face with glee. "Cut the crap. I want you. You should be honored, but instead you turn me down. Of course I'll hit you, haha." Bam. A dozen lashes later, Shangguan Yulin was seeing stars, tears falling like a river. "What did I do to deserve this? All I wanted was to get the goo guy here and cripple him. But I didn't even get to do that as I stumbled into the devil who wants me as his disciple." He knew he was amazing from all the seniors wanting him as well, but he was born from a great and righteous clan. How could he fall so low as to become a demon's disciple? "I don't even know what his status is in his faction. Won't I lose out trading glory for being some commander's disciple? If I go from Eastern Land's best clan's future inheritor to some nobody devil's disciple, who do I blame then?" Not like he had a choice. The devil had him trapped and leashed. He wasn't long for this world if he kept this up. "Senior, tell me your request and I will brave hell or high water in achieving it. Please release." "No, I want you as a disciple. Refuse and I'll just kill you, haha." Shangguan Yulin cried bitter tears over his swollen face, pleading for his life. Zhuofan laughed at his expense, shouting and demanding instead. Shangguan Yulin's heart was in despair. "Why am I so amazing to earn the attention of this devil? Fame has its price and now I have to pay for my greatness." As Shangguan Yulin's face was being flung from side to side, he had the time for a flight of fancy, actually taking pride in it. In the end, Shangguan Yulin couldn't take it anymore and sighed, forcing himself to say, "Fine, since Senior cherishes me so, I will concede." Bang. The lashes came still. Zhuofan didn't seem to hear over the loud smacks. "Hey Senior. I give up. Why are you still hitting me?" With his face swollen bigger than an overripe melon, Shangguan Yulin cried out as the strikes continued to fall on his numb face. Zhuofan finally reacted, Did you say something? My ears aren't as sharp as they used to." "Screw you." Shangguan Yulin lashed out in his mind. "You clearly heard since you replied. Goddamn playing with me." But as a hostage he had to play his part and hung his head. Since he said his ears were bad, then he'd have to speak louder, obviously. "Master, I pay respects to you. Please stop." "What, you want me as your master? Haha, that's great." Bam. With not a single intention of stopping the dragon tail lashing, actually growing in strength instead, Zhuofan himself joined the punishment with his Qilin arm, sending heavy punches to his gut until blood spurted from his mouth. Face twitching constantly, Shangguan Yulin wailed, "Master, I wish to be under you, so why do you still strike me?" "Oh, your master is a great demonic cultivator and loves thrashing people from joy." Zhuofan toyed with him, "With such an amazing talent, so eager to be learning for me, the excitement got to me." Since there's no one around, I'll use you to calm my overstimulated heart. Shengguan Yulin's face was twitching like there was no tomorrow. Geezer, I get you want to pummel me, so why make up such lame excuses? Though sensible enough not to voice it. This coot is insane. If he thrashes people when excited, what about in anger? Will he flay them alive? Anywho, he'd rather not test that theory, master. Don't hit me. You might beat me to death too if you're too excited. Oh, Zhuofan sneered inside. Oh, being in my domain, you couldn't sense that the guy you hit woke up a while ago and left. That left only you to beat up. What? Shengguan Yulin shuddered in anger. He wanted to ruin Zhuofan, but instead the punk got away while he instead ended up suffering at the hand of this freak. What did I ever do to deserve this? Shengguan Yulin howled. Master, how could you let him go? He's too weak. What was I supposed to do with him? But you're going to wear my mantle, ha? Zhuofan laughed and gave 2 slaps and another overexcited punch to Shengguan Yulin's chest, caving it in. It always gets my blood going just thinking about it. I just have to punch something. Blood and gore spurted from Shengguan Yulin's mouth. He paled like paper and his face swelled up more, if that was even possible. Shengguan Yulin's face twitched again, out of habit perhaps, as he wailed and pleaded, Master, do you want me as a disciple or one to toy around with? You're going to end up killing me. Oh, oops, I just can't control myself in all the excitement. Zhuofan coughed. I'm sure you know by now that all demonic cultivators have their peculiar hobbies. I've had mine for far too long now, or I would have gotten a disciple ages ago. With such love taps, all your disciples would end up dead. With the flogging finally ended, Shengguan Yulin sighed, slumping weakly with hatred. Goddamn lunatic. Zhuofan let him off seeing him so worn out, but his play had yet to finish. That only leaves 100 kowtows and that should do for ceremony. Kowtows, still? Shengguan Yulin was so bitter he hardly spoke. Zhuofan raged, you won't? Does that mean you don't want to be my disciple? Then. I'm doing it, look. Shengguan Yulin waved his hands around, frantic. But before he could start he asked, Master, they say 3 bows to the elders and 4 to those who passed. Shouldn't it be just 3 then? Why would Sir want 100 then? Oh, nice thinking. Zhuofan grinned. The 3 are for me, of course, while the rest are for your late departed senior brothers. To watch over you so you won't follow in their footsteps. 1 for each one should appease their spirits. You drove 97 disciples to death already? Shengguan Yulin eyes rolled in his head, blanking out from fear. The black domain faded and Zhuofan revealed his mocking smile, his grin turning devious as he watched his puppet. Chapter 867, Degenerate Demons? Chapter 867, Degenerate Demon. Proofreader, Papatonks. On a pitch-black night, the black clouds drifted away, revealing a round moon that shone its graceful light upon the cold land and the unmoving man. Upon a closer look he was covered in wounds. His clothes were in tatters, his face so swollen only a mother would recognize him. His brows quivered as the moonlight stirred him, opening his hazy eyes. Where am I? Why? Confusion laced his gaze from his unsettled mind, but then it all came pouring in. He sat quickly and darted his eyes all over in panic. Where's that sicko? Where is he? He looked around but there was no one around except for him. The man nodded for some reason, muttering to himself, it was all just an illusion. Yes, that's it. There's no sicko and that never happened. It was just one horrible nightmare, ha. Pa. His crazed and delusional justification came to an abrupt halt as a stone graced his most sensitive and swollen face, slamming him into the ground. The flood of pain brought him to tears, his mouth quivering. Hey disciple, who are you calling a sicko? A most familiar and dreaded voice came from the darkness. The man shuddered, but he actually remained silent. That's the old demon's voice. The nightmare is real, the devil is still here. Eyes twitching, Shengguan Yulin wailed in tears, Master, I would never. I was only referring to the people of Flying Cloud Manor. Those old freaks suck at even being guards. How could they let just anyone into the city? Shengguan Yulin wailed while making excuses as his voice trailed off, growing so tiny no one could hear him. He just dumped all his hatred on the guards. What the hell is wrong with you? You call yourself guards and yet you let this sicko disturb public peace? It not once occurred to him that if security was that tight, Shengguan clan had no way of getting in. From the shadow, Zhuofan listened with a laugh. Oh, disciple, so you're cursing the guards. They sure deserve it. They ignore their duties and let anyone in, haha. Zhuofan continued, however, thanks to their sloppy attitude we got to slip in, no? This is where a Sword King is stationed, you know? Shangguan Yulin flushed, knowing fully well the old guy was mocking him, but his mouth remained shut. Seeing you all worn out, we'll leave the 100 kowtows aside for now. Shangguan Yulin lit up in joy, really? Thank you, master, thank you, haha. A total discrepancy from the hatred he felt in his heart. This decrepit geezer, I won't take a sicko like him as master ever, even if I would have been put to bow 100 times. The minute I get to uncle, you're dead to me. And if I catch you around me again, I'll sick people on you to skin you alive, flay your flesh and break your bones. Zhuofan could easily see through those crocodile tears, making a most devious grin. While the ceremony will be on hold for now, we're now master and disciple. Don't you ever forget that. Yes, master, absolutely. Shangguan Yulin bobbed his head with a fake smile. Zhuofan laughed and shook his head. Hey, do you really think I'll believe that, disciple? That'll make all those centuries roaming the world for nothing. No, 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 master, you have to believe me. I'm serious about having you as my master. My vow shall never be broken. Shangguan Yulin panicked as he explained. Zhuofan mocked, it's fine. I'm not that easy to fool and I came prepared. Now take your shirt off. What do you want to do? Shangguan Yulin froze on high alert. The sicko's first twisted hobby was enough as it is. Who knows if he doesn't have any others even worse than this? Zhuofan chuckled, easy now, disciple, I am a great demonic cultivator, but I won't ever swing that way. Also, why would I have waited so long if I had that intention to begin with? Shangguan Yulin paused for a moment before realizing it as well. So he complied. Seeing his perfect body riddled with wounds, Shangguan Yulin's hatred grew hotter. This is all this sicko's fault. Try using Yuan Qi, Zhuofan said. Shangguan Yulin did as he was told, and on his caved-in chest, 2 words in golden letters appeared. Degenerate demon. Shangguan Yulin looked gobsmacked. He pointed at his chest with a dumb look, stammering, what is this? Haha, disciple, the demonic path has always been unpopular, so anyone who becomes my disciple needs to have these words engraved on them as a reminder. So you'll never lower yourself again nor get trapped in lofty dreams. Zhuofan laughed, you'll soon leave with me and strike out in the world. You're best off forgetting everything about inheriting the Shangguan clan. There's no way they'll let someone with such words on their chest lead the Shangguan clan. They're too renowned for that. Shangguan Yulin's eyes twitched, about to explode in anger. Master, you've ruined me. I only ever wanted the supreme glory of the Shangguan clan. We can even rule it together, but please don't take everything from me. Share, you say? Zhuofan raised an eyebrow. You're serious? Shangguan Yulin bobbed his head. Yes, of course, as long as I get to lead Shangguan clan, then half of it will be yours as my master. You truly know how to return favors. I bet your uncle would be fuming if he heard you. But I like it, ha. Zhuofan made a sign and the gaudy golden letters faded from Shangguan Yulin's chest. Shangguan Yulin perked up. A bit too soon though, as Zhuofan's icy tone came right after. Remember your words, disciple. You are to follow my every word from now on. Or else it won't be as easy as letters appearing on your chest next time, maybe your life will expire. Shangguan Yulin shuddered but looked confused. Why did those words appear? Haha, that's because I gave you a blood curse. Zhuofan snickered. As you saw, the words popped on your chest the minute you used Yuan Qi. What you don't know is that in 15 minutes you would have been splattered everywhere if I hadn't kept the blood curse in check with my signs. Panicking, Shangguan Yulin's eyes bugged out. No way. Yes way. You just became my disciple and have no idea what I'm capable of. Now do you understand how your 97 senior brothers passed? Humph. Zhuofan squinted. Press the sacred pool pressure point on your right hand and use Yuan Qi. Shangguan Yulin did just that. He heard a bang then and his right arm exploded in a golden pillar of flames, followed by the breaking of his meridian. Blood dripped on the ground as the hand now hung limp. He was now in extreme shock. He never thought this old freak would be so brutal, planting a bomb in him to detonate at any second. Zhuofan grinned at his dumb look. The golden flame shows I'm going easy on you. If it were the black flame, then the second it appeared, losing your hand would be the least of your problems. Then again, even this display was only a fraction of the golden flame's power. If you don't listen. Master, I'll do everything you say, no questions asked. Please show mercy and release the blood curse. Shangguan Yulin was looking afraid now, starting to slam his head on the ground without Zhuofan's urging. Zhuofan's eyes flashed. Good, now tell me everything about Shangguan clan and why you have come to Flying Cloud City. Pausing, Shangguan Yulin sighed after some hesitation. Chapter 868, Entrusted/Charged. Chapter 868, Entrusted/Charged. Proofreader, Papatonks. I see, so Eastern Land's divine weapon, Soaring Sword, was brought to Eastern Lands by Shangguan Feiyun. Zhuofan nodded after he finished, so that's why Shangguan clan left home. It was all to get the Eastern Land's treasure back. Looking at the black void around him, Shangguan Yulin found a shadow of Zhuofan. Master, you said you knew everything, so does it look like you just found out? You talk too much. Zhuofan glared. You only need to answer my question. Try to hide anything and when I'll find out. I know. I will never lie to you. Shangguan Yulin bobbed his head while cussing on the inside. The old coot is so sly. With how he acts, I don't have any chance of hiding anything. The minute I do, he'll activate that golden flame he stuck in me and blow me sky high. Shangguan Yulin sighed. This marks the beginning of my betrayal of the Shangguan clan. Zhuofan had since known him to be twisted inside. That was why he believed he wasn't a zealot for the clan, choosing self-preservation over glory. That made his words believable, turning him into a usable young master. Zhuofan probed, what if I wanted you to get me the soaring sword? Will you give your life for the Shangguan clan or offer me the sword? Master, why do you even ask? My life is in Sir's hands. Of course I'll give you the sword for my life. Shangguan Yulin sighed. Zhuofan had a hard look but then laughed. Ha, great, you know when to compromise, kid. It brings me relief knowing this as I charge you with an important task. Shangguan Yulin asked, what task? Zhuofan shook his head. I'll contact you when the time is right. Until then, you are to play your part in the Shangguan clan, to make sure there are no incidents. I'll notify you when I'm ready. That will be your glorious achievement for your master's sake. Yes, master. He'd rather not, but it wasn't like he had a choice. He bowed and cupped his hands. The tranquility of the forest was the only reply. Looking around, Shangguan Yulin tested, and master? Are you there? The night breeze blew by. Curses, did he really leave? Shangguan Yulin took a deep breath, depression evident on his face. Just what did he do to deserve this fate? Why him? How could he become a turncoat just like that and become some devil's toy? All he could do was hang his head and trudge along dejectedly until the devil whispered in his ear. After the cruel ceremony to be the devil's disciple, he still had no idea what he was. He lost big this time. He only came to take care of his love rival, yet ended up with him being some sicko's puppet instead. Shangguan Yulin teared up again. With a beaten look, Shangguan Yulin dragged his weary body as the night wind grazed his swollen face. As he faded out into the night, Zhuofan faded in at the same spot. Looking at the poor sap of a young master, Zhuofan smirked, I finally got myself a usable pawn. I no longer have to be part of the audience but actually flip the board, ha ha ha. Zhuofan left with one final laugh. Meanwhile, in the parlor of Gu household, the face of Shangguan Feixiong on the main seat shone in the light of candles. He was frowning, focusing on the entrance with a heavy look. Shangguan Qingyan paced around the parlor, looking nervous and restless. A stark contrast to the young child sitting there with a toy in his hands, cheerfully playing. Thump. The two's eyes snapped up to see a Shangguan clan guard rushing in. Well, are they back yet? Shangguan Qingyan asked first. The guard bowed with a sigh. Young Miss, clan head, young master and Sir Gu have yet to return. You may go. A Shangguan Feixiong's gesture, the man withdrew. Shangguan Qingyan complained, just where did cousin take Sir Gu? What's taking them so long? Dad, tell me they're all right. Shangguan Feixiong frowned in thought, shaking his head. Young Sanzi, aren't you worried since your dad is late? Shangguan Qingyan turned to the carefree child playing with the toy. She knew the father and son were very close, sticking to each other like glue. So why was it the kid showed no care when his dad went missing? It made no sense. Gu Santong glanced at her, not stopping his playing for her sake. My dad is too great for something to happen to him. Even if it does, it's the other side who'll suffer. What do you mean by that? Shangguan Qingyan was baffled. Gu Santong had a vague smile on his face in reply. It only worked to puzzle this young missy to the extreme. Hurried footsteps were heard as a guard barged in with a cheerful cry, Clan head, young master is back. Truly? Shangguan Feixiong shot to his feet and walked for the door with Shangguan Qingyan right behind him. They didn't get far as Shangguan Yulin's wretched figure and swollen face entered the parlor with a casual step. The two were stunned, scanning Shangguan Yulin's remaining obvious facial features and crying in shock. Who are you? See? I told you it's unclear who had incidents, humph. Gu Santong was still in his seat and glanced over with a sneer as he played on. Shangguan Yulin's mouth quivered, looking at his uncle and cousin with a heavy heart. Seeing them so happy, he was choking on his words. Uncle, cousin, I'm back. Why you're Yulin? Still incredulous, Shangguan Feixiong stammered. The guard explained, Clan head, he is indeed young master. He just came back and had us all jump. But we knew him from his aura. Shangguan Feixiong finally took notice of the air around the swollen head, finally putting a name to this strange face. What shocked him wasn't that though. What happened? Why are you like this? What about Sergu? Where is he? Wasn't he with you? Shangguan Qingyan asked. Shangguan Yulin's face fell, his anger spiking. Cousin, you're my kin, yet instead of asking about me you worry about someone else? Am I that insignificant to you? Shangguan Yulin felt wronged, remaining silent. This had Shangguan Qingyan growing frantic. Cousin, where's Sergu? Didn't I tell you to watch over him? Why are you returning perfectly fine while he's missing? Shangguan Yulin shook, on the point of spewing blood. Fine? Cousin, does anything about me look perfectly fine to you? I just came back from an encounter with a patrol. But seeing me so roughed up, they pitted me and didn't interrogate me. You call that perfectly fine? Why do you only care about him? What is going on between you two? What are you to each other? Shangguan Yulin's heart was crushed, wanting to howl at the sky. Only his uncle's presence stopped him. Did cousin come back yet? Cries were heard from outside and soon Zhuofan's figure rushed in. He looked drenched and tense as he asked quickly, Uncle, cousin just left me. Shangguan Feixiong's face twitched, looking from him to the unrecognizable Shangguan Yulin. They shook their heads. What did they do anyway? Chapter 869, Shadow Emperor. Chapter 869, Shadow Emperor. Proofreader, Papatonks. Sighing, Shangguan Feixiong pointed at the youth with a warped face. Yulin is already back. He's standing right here. That's cousin? Looking shocked at Shangguan Yulin next to him, Zhuofan's eyes shook in disbelief, but then he changed tunes too. While there's no resemblance to speak of, I can vaguely sense cousin's valor and grandeur, the imposing posture. Shangguan Qingyan rolled her eyes and giggled. Shangguan Yulin was fuming. Is he toying with me or praising me? Shangguan Feixiong glared at his daughter, making her smile fade, but she stuck out her tongue. He sighed and frowned at the two. What have you been doing all this time? Why do you look like that? Uncle, actually. Zhuofan began his report, making Shangguan Feixiong look stern and focused. But Zhuofan's next words had this mild clan head actually ticked off. I have no clue whatsoever. Shangguan Feixiong was so close to popping in anger, barking, Why are you talking then? And weren't you two together? How can you not know anything? Uncle, while I and cousin were out searching, I was struck unconscious out of nowhere. By the time I woke up, there was no one there, not even cousin. I searched for him, fearing the guards might have found him. But despite all the searching, I found no sign of him and rushed back, only to see cousin wasn't home either. I truly don't know anything about what happened when I was out cold. Zhuofan muttered, playing the victim. Uncle, at your question, I of course responded swiftly as a sign of respect. Yet you do not appreciate me but shout at me. Aren't you from a righteous clan? What? Shangguan Feixiong was stumped, feeling ashamed seeing Zhuofan's look. But he was also gratified. While Zhuofan was a flippant rogue, he could still tell from that recounting he forewent his safety in danger, worrying for his friend and searching all day through the city to find him. Such loyalty was just the kind Shangguan clan preached. Clueless that all of it was merely an elaborate excuse for his late arrival. All of it was to get closer to the clan. Loyalty was the farthest thing from his mind. With Zhuofan's vile character, what the hell kind of loyalty would he have after meeting you guys for just a day? But since the old man wanted to believe it, Zhuofan was happy to play along, all to get more out of it later. Shangguan Feixiong took a deep breath and patted his shoulder. Yifan, I was wrong. Don't mind it. With no parents in this world, you are my only elder. I have no right to complain. Zhuofan beamed and bowed. Shangguan Feixiong was even more gratified. You're looking more and more like a true Shangguan clansman. I haven't made a mistake taking you in, haha. Shangguan Yulin shook, a feeling of dread drowning him. What the hell? The kid only knew how to run his mouth, forcing Uncle to take him in with a reluctant heart. So why is it that now the punk got Uncle's approval? Won't that make it harder to touch him later? Yulin Yifan doesn't know what happened. You tell us. Shangguan Yulin was thinking about his next plan when Shangguan Feixiong's shout brought him back to the present. Uncle is right, Brother Gu truly is like a Shangguan clansman, only difference is his surname. Shangguan Feixiong eyed him. Yulin, what are you spouting? I'm asking here, where have you been all this time? And how did Yifan get attacked? Oh, that. Wiping the cold sweat off his brow, Shangguan Yulin had a dry smile as he made excuses. Uncle, I and Brother Gu had followed a patrol in the forest since they were being suspicious in their actions. I never thought they had a sentry post hidden as well, ambushing us. I panicked and blocked in reflex, not even realizing the shockwave would catch Brother Gu by surprise and knock him out. 6 people then showed up, forcing me to flee upon facing such strong opposition. Zhuo Fan's brow rose, sparing him an approving glance. He's a genius all right, making perfect lies on the spot that encompasses all doubts. He's one crafty guy. Even I would have believed him if I wasn't there. Shangguan Feixiong frowned. So you abandoned Yifan? No, Uncle, please hear me out. Shangguan Yulin rushed to come up with another lie. With so many enemies after us, if I had taken Brother Gu as well, it didn't matter if escape was impossible, but that Brother Gu would have been caught up in our fight and die. Brother Gu's cultivation is also low, and I feared the enemy would have no remorse for him. That's why I drew them away as we fought, hoping to give Brother Gu the time to flee. Once I threw off their pursuit, I came back to find Brother Gu wasn't there. That's why I rushed back home, hoping to find him safe. If he hadn't returned, then I would have gone back, risking my life to save Brother Gu. Shangguan Yulin's vehement speech coupled with his sorry state made for a tragic impression. Everyone admired him. Zhuo Fan might have even thought him heroic if he didn't know the truth. For crying out loud, is all Shangguan clan filled with high-class actors? Then again, I'm not lacking in that department either. Zhuo Fan grabbed his hands firmly, touched to the core. Cousin, I am unable to bear such loyalty from you. Aren't we brothers? While Shangguan Yulin was revolted of Zhuo Fan, in front of Uncle he had to show his big brother side. In this case, Zhuo Fan milked it for all it's worth, tearing up. Cousin, I'm just a nobody. How could I be worthy of Cousin's glorious sacrifice and friendship? I can feel my heart beating out of my chest every time I think about it. If Cousin had died because of me, I'd deserve death. Zhuo Fan looked particularly mournful right about now, driving his point with his snot and tears dripping on Shangguan Yulin's hands. Filled with disgust and loathing that could not be expressed with Shangguan Feixiong around, he revealed instead a brilliant smile. Brother Gu, we are true brothers under oath. Cousin. Brother Gu. Cousin. Brother Gu. The two sighed at the touching words, with the father and daughter of Shangguan clan admiring their camaraderie. Gu Santong, who kept on playing, felt his mouth twitch constantly. Looky here, Dad got some more simps falling for his act. Then again, this cousin's shamelessness can challenge Dad's. They're both shadow emperors. He might be a child but had more than 3 centuries of experience. Then there were the years spent along with Zhuo Fan on top, and Gu Santong could see through any of his acts. He held the play in disdain, though he never said a word, playing on with his toy. I'm grateful to know you brothers are so close. But no matter how close you are, you should let go of your hands now. How do you think it'll look seeing 2 grown men hold each other and sniveling? Shangguan Feixiong found the two's friendship too strong for his eyes, teasing them about it. The two beamed and let go. Shangguan Yulin wanted to let go ages ago. Zhuo Fan had been dripping snot all over them and left him with disgust. But he was forced to smile through the ordeal. Shangguan Feixiong nodded. All that matters is that you're both safe and sound. Yulin, were you followed when coming back? Don't worry, Uncle, I was careful not to pick a tail. Shangguan Yulin's eyes flashed. Shangguan Feixiong nodded. I think so too. Yulin, there's an important job I have to entrust you with. Another one? Shangguan Yulin's eyes looked lost. First was the devil and now his uncle. What's the world coming to, dumping all its troubles on my head? I'm just too amazing, too strong and too responsible. The delusions of grandeur were strong with this one. Chapter 870, Overreaching. Chapter 870, Overreaching. Proofreader, Papatonks. In the dead of night, Shengguan Feixiong brought Shengguan Yulin through the halls towards a plain room. He bowed, "Venerables, I've brought him." "Enter." Shengguan Feixiong nodded at the aged voice and went in with his nephew. There sat the three oldest venerables of the Shengguan clan. Knowing this was serious, Shengguan Yulin bowed and shivered in excitement. "Another heavy task is entrusted. Greetings, venerables. Stand up." The elders smiled, but then they looked at him oddly. "What's with that swollen face?" "Feixiong W, what is this?" Shengguan Feixiong was embarrassed, but went to whisper in their ears. The trio nodded. "Oh, so he was scouting for the clan and had a bitter fight with the enemy." "Exactly, ha." Shengguan Yulin beamed. "I'd do anything for the clan, come hell or high water." The elders eased a breath. The fight must have been truly desperate. Beaten so much that not even his mother would recognize him. Shengguan Yulin's mouth twitched while Shengguan Feixiong chuckled with a shake of his head. "But they're all mere flesh wounds needing a few days to recover, ha." But then the elders laughed out, focusing their aged eyes on him. "Shengguan Yulin, you are the best disciple of Shengguan clan, renowned for your cultivation. This time the clan has a critical and deadly task for you. Do it well and you'll gain the most merit. Fail and you may die. Will you accept?" Shengguan Yulin cupped his hands and shouted, "For all the care the Shengguan clan gave me all these years, I will not shy from any danger." "Good, you got spunk." An elder elaborated the task. "You know by now that the manor is recruiting alchemists. In a few days it will open its doors for them. We hope you can play as one and sneak in. You will scout the place for us so that we can make a better plan of attack the second time." Shengguan Yulin cried out, "You want me to play the role of an alchemist?" But I don't know alchemy." "We know that. The Shengguan clan hardly has any such talents. That's why it can only be you." The venerable sighed. "Alchemy combines cultivation, skill and arts to achieve greatness. While we lack in arts, we'll just have to make up with cultivation and skill. It's known that a radiant stage cultivator can be a 7th grade alchemist, an ethereal stage cultivator an 8th grade, a soul harmony stage cultivator a 9th grade and a genesis stage cultivation a 10th grade. In this world 11th grade alchemists are the true masters of this art. With our skills we can only make average 9th grade pills with a rare 10th one. We're not real alchemists in this sense, let alone outstanding grandmasters. While I bet you can't even reach the 7th grade. But since we lack alchemy arts, we'll use cultivation. You're in the soul harmony stage, so we'll use these days to beat a few secret alchemy arts into you, in hope you reach the 8th grade. Maybe it will be enough to gain you entry into the manor." Shengguan Yulin's brow shook. "You want me to become an 8th grade alchemist in just a few days? No way. I know next to nothing about alchemy. I may have an easy time making some casual pills, but I never tackled anything more complex." "Oh, why not have Brother Gu go instead? Ain't he an alchemist?" Shengguan Yulin proposed. He knew just how deadly it could turn out if he went into the manor. In case he was exposed, his death was certain. "It's better to let that punk brave the danger than stay here, humph." The people shook their heads. "Yulin, we've already taken him in consideration, but he's not good. Like I told you, a radiant stage cultivator can only reach 7th grade in alchemy, with average 8th grade at the most for true grandmasters. The limit is tied to one's cultivation. The child is in the 5th layer of radiant stage but not at the rank of grandmaster. A good 7th grade alchemist is all. It might have worked in the other land's tiny nations, but not in the Sword Star Empire. He's also an outsider that has yet to earn our trust. A task so critical can only be handed down to a trusted clansman." Shengguan Yulin's face twitched. "Damn geezers, you're saying it's better for a clansman to die than an outsider? Curses. Why aren't you old farts going then? Don't drag me into this." Shengguan Yulin frowned and worked hard to find an excuse. He stuck out his chest and declared, "Venerable sirs, I think your judgment of Brother Gu is unfair. Maybe he was dubious before, but today showed he is loyal. He helped me in my search and proved he's worthy of trust. Right, uncle?" "Yes, it's indeed so." Shengguan Feixiong nodded. "I was about to tell venerables, and since Yulin mentioned it, I will do it now. Today Gu Yifan had not been under our surveillance, but still didn't betray us. This shows his loyalty. I think holding him and his son confined is no longer needed. We should see them as part of the Shengguan clan. And from what we saw today he has quite the valor fitting the nature of the Shengguan clan." The venerables looked at him long then nodded. Fei Xiong will trust your judgment. But this task of infiltrating the manor. Venerables, please give Brother Gu a chance. He's working hard to join our clan. Shengguan Yulin cupped his hands and urged. Shengguan Fei Xiong nodded, touched by the two's camaraderie. Though why did this happen after a single trip together? Is it growing close through suffering? Has to be. Shengguan Fei Xiong added, Venerables, Gu Yifan is a true alchemist. Even if he's in 7th grade, he's still a gem. He might even get into the manor. I believe casting a wider net will work in our favor. Why not have them both go? It will be the same as long as any one of them enters. Clueless that Shengguan Yulin wanted to throw Zhuo Fan to the wolves. Should we let the outsider try as well? The venerables sank in thought. Shengguan Yulin nodded and Shengguan Yulin rushed to add, yes, you must give Brother Gu a chance, he. But leaving it to an outsider makes us uneasy. The venerables looked worried. He may go, but someone must keep an eye on him for any mishaps and dangers. Shengguan Yulin beamed, not a problem. As long as we treat Brother Gu as family, giving him the chance to prove himself, all will be fine, ha. Although we'll have Yifan do something for us, we'll also send someone to watch him. This might lower his opinion of us. Shengguan Fei Xiong frowned. I have seen the kid's character today. While he likes to mess around, his heart is good. And this is how we treat him? Fei Xiong, a man of ambition, doesn't mind trifles. Yeah, Uncle, Brother Gu won't mind it. Shengguan Yulin and the venerables urged Shengguan Fei Xiong, who felt ashamed still. Maybe, but he will definitely be against having some stranger with him. It will alienate him. Why not let Yenner go? She'll observe him under the guise of support. They're also familiar to each other, so he won't mind. What cousin? No, Shengguan Yulin waved his hands around. Yes, that's what we'll do. Yenner is the best choice. Fei Xiong, you're really thorough. We'll go with your plan. All of us are in agreement. Ignoring Shengguan Yulin's outburst, the elders nodded, putting an end to this discussion, having disregarded him completely. While the four laughed, their minds made up. Zhuo Fan, the second candidate, was going to sneak into the manor with Yenner as his helper and watcher. Shengguan Yulin was dumbstruck. What have I done? Did I just hand my cousin to that punk? That was not his intention at all. He had overreached himself. Pa. Shengguan Yulin slapped himself hard. The four gave him a look. What's wrong? Nothing, just a toothache. Chapter 871, Pill King Convention. Chapter 871, Pill King Convention. Proofreader, Papatonks. You want me to join the Flying Cloud Manor's alchemy screening and sneak in? At the crack of dawn, Shengguan Fei Xiong was seeing Zhuo Fan and Shengguan Qingyan in the parlor with a bright smile. Zhuo Fan was stunned, then nodded. It fit his plan of wanting to test the waters as well after hearing this announcement. Putting it off until Flying Cloud Manor and Shengguan clan faced off would leave too much room for error, something he wished to avoid. And this proved to be his best chance to do it while also entering Shengguan clan's good graces. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands without delay, agreeing with a smile. Doing my part for the Shengguan clan after the clan took us both in, is an utmost honor. Thank you, Uncle, for giving us this chance. As long as you know. Shengguan Fei Xiong smiled. I'm sure you know that my decision of taking you in hasn't been met well by other members. But if you do this well, you'll prove yourself in front of everyone. No one will question you again. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone. Shengguan Qingyan giggled. Sir Gu, work hard. Whether you stand with Shengguan clan will depend on this task. Maybe you'll even earn everyone's approval and become a true young master of our clan. You might even get the chance to get back your wife. It won't matter who you offended in Western lands when the Shengguan clan has your back. You'll finally be together. Zhuo Fan gave him a long look, but seeing her clear eyes, he returned a smile. Oh, I see. I was wondering why this Missy cared so much for me and my son. I wrote it off as being my immense charm's fault. Who knew she wanted to get me and my wife together again? How kind. A shame it's not that simple. With a dimmed gaze, Zhuo Fan shook his head. Even if you become one of us, you can't go on a rampage. Shengguan Fei Xiong glared at his daughter. But then he smiled at Zhuo Fan. Don't worry, Shengguan clan is no pushover. Do this well and I will definitely help you out. Even if Double Dragon Manor is involved, I'll give you justice. Thank you so much, Uncle. Zhuo Fan bowed. Double Dragon Manor? If it were that easy, I'd have done it myself. Yenner, We planned on sending Yulin with Yifan at the competition. Shengguan Qingyan continued, Yulin is a steady man and can take charge. Yifan's cultivation is low, so you will have to assist him in making sure he's selected. Got it? Shengguan Qingyan gave a firm nod with a happy look. Yes, father. Hee Sergu, you better listen to me now. She gave Zhuofan a teasing smile. Zhuofan chuckled as well, but he saw through Shengguan Feixiong's plan on having her spy on him. Yesterday's play wasn't enough to remove all doubts of the clan. Which was normal, especially with such an important task. Caution was paramount. Zhuofan and Shengguan Feixiong exchanged a few more words before he left with a bow. Shengguan Qingyan skipped behind him. The next few days Shengguan Yulin and Zhuofan went through a personal hell. Shengguan Yulin, being the most promising seed, was instructed personally by the three venerables in the intricate arts of cooking herbs into pills. Day in day out, he was found hovering over the cauldron, soaked in its fumes, instructed in the fine arts the elders were hardly familiar with. That was because Shengguan Yulin had the cultivation but not the skills. Thus the elders went harder on him in hope his skill improved faster. On the other hand, Zhuofan's days were paradise by comparison. Everyone knew him as an alchemist, so that was that. That was why he was left to his own devices. All he had to make up for was cultivation. But cultivation wasn't to be rushed either. Which made this backup, Shengguan Yulin's replacement, disregarded in this aspect. With the confinement ending, Zhuofan was out in the world again with his son. With clan head's daughter leading along, he was the envy of anyone as he enjoyed himself. Shengguan Qingyan's role was the observer, but young Sanzi's infectious playful nature got the best of her, making her grow closer and closer to the pair. It went as far as going in the back of the house to have a blast with them. This only worked to sour Shengguan Yulin's mood, being wiped like a donkey over the cauldron by the elders. Haha, young Sanzi, loosen your hand a bit or your kite's going to fall. Yes, that's it. Auntie, hold it while I get a fruit. Sure. Hey Gu Yifan, stop being lazy. You should be the one to hold your son's kite. Young Sanzi gave it to you so you guys play with it. Now stop messing up my nap, stingy. Hey, whose son is young Sanzi anyway? What kind of father doesn't care? Then you care instead. Wretched brat. Banter and teasing was heard from beyond the walls. Shengguan Yulin sat cross-legged near a cauldron over a scorching fire, his mouth constantly twitching, his eyes burning hotter than the fire before him. Damn that accursed punk. I warned him to stay away from her. Now he's flirting instead? Once I get out of here, I'll throttle you. Calm your heart and focus. The gestures are the key as you employ the art. Noticing Shengguan Yulin's attention was slipping, a bamboo scroll smacked him over the head, making him wince. He looked at the venerable standing behind him with a cold gaze. Calm your heart and focus on the gestures. Screw you. My cousin is out there with that degenerate pair and you're telling me to frickin' calm down? Pah. Another smack came on point. Empty your mind, calm your heart. Your thoughts should only be on the gestures. Face twitching, Shengguan Yulin's heart was grumbling as he nodded. He got himself to blame for this mess. I get you wanting me to go into the manor, but why the hell is that bastard coming too? Now look at him. Even before we reach it, I'm in hell, wasting my time with alchemy while you guys are giggling so hard, afraid I won't hear you. This is torture. Heavens above, Mother Earth below, what did I ever do to deserve this? Why are you so cruel to me? Gu Yifan, this isn't over, not by a long shot. Once we're done with the manor, I'll make sure you're dead. Pah. The smacking came on point, as did the warning, calm your heart. Flinching, Shengguan Yulin grumbled some more. A week passed like this, with Zhuofan and Shengguan Yulin enjoying their special and contradictory training. What they had in common was the annoyance with it. What Shengguan Yulin saw as hell in the pungent herbs boiling their noxious fumes in his face, Zhuofan saw it as relaxation. He was most happy to switch places. It should be Zhuofan the main with Shengguan Yulin as backup in this scenario. However, the bitter days finally ran out as Zhuofan returned home at noon with Shengguan Qingyan and Gu Santong. But they were far from relaxed. Dad, the manor made another announcement. 3 days later, it will hold the Pill King Convention to select true alchemists to heal the Crown Prince in the imperial capital. Rushing into the parlor, Shengguan Qingyan made her report. Jumping to his feet, Shengguan Feixiong's eyes shone, shouting, since they mentioned the alchemist selection, the security eased up, the patrols eased, and people swarmed this city. The day finally came. In 3 days we move, haha. Shengguan Feixiong walked behind the house. I'll inform the venerables. Shengguan Qingyan beamed and nodded. Gu Yifan, your moment is near. Don't mess it up. While a backup. No worries, I won't. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. Shengguan Qingyan nodded, rushing after her dad. Gu Santong muttered, Dad, is it a trap? Definitely. Zhuo Fan grinned. But Shengguan clan spies in the central area have reported for the last few days that the crown prince is indeed hurt badly. Won't? Zhuo Fan patted his head. It's too strange of an event. Not about the number of reports confirming it, but the timing is what reveals it being a trap. Yet they're still going. Don't they know this? People always believe what they want to believe. Zhuo Fan smiled, knowing it's a trap. The fact that they make all kinds of plans around it, they don't see it as one but an opportunity. Such is the mentality of men greedy. There's no way opportunity lies at every corner, ha. Though this trap is clever, what's truly ingenious is that it fits the Shengguan clan's character. Flying Cloud Manor has a cunning mind among them. Zhuo Fan's eyes shone coldly. I'll have to watch my step in the manor as well. Chapter 872, Gathering at the Manor. Chapter 872, Gathering at the Manor. Proofreader, Papatonks. If it isn't Grandmaster Zhang. You've also come to join the bustle, sir? What do you think? With such a rare chance of shooting for the moon, I'm not one to pass it up. Are you any different, Surly? You must want to get a post in the imperial family with this, right? Please, I don't hold such high hopes. I'm only here to enjoy the occasion, haha. Bright and early as the rooster crowed, Flying Cloud Manor entrance was packed with a huge crowd, alchemists drawn in by the rumors. As far as skills went, only some were real alchemists who came here to seize their chance. The people laughed, joked, teased, greeted, yet what all had in common was their reserved stance. They were ready to sweep the opposition. While warm smiles were everywhere, they were each wise enough to know the cruelty hidden within. They were rivals. At long last, Zhuo Fan and Shengguan Qingyan arrived as well among the sea of hypocrites. Miss, are you an alchemist too? How rare. Shengguan Qingyan got quite a few curious glances, when they were actually trying to get some info out of her. Alchemy is filled with fumes and toil, hardly an interest to women. I'm truly amazed you are an alchemist, miss. Shengguan Qingyan shook her head, pointing at Zhuo Fan. You misunderstood, brother, it's my elder brother who's an alchemist. I'm only here to keep him company. Oh, he is. The man turned his attention to Zhuo Fan, giving off a smile of contempt. So brother is an alchemist coming to participate in the Pill King convention. Greetings. Oh, there's an old friend of mine. Better say hi. Let's meet again. The man quickly left the two, being all friendly to another group. Ha, one look told me you're all seasoned alchemists. May I know from where? Shengguan Qingyan was taken aback, then glanced at Zhuo Fan. Who is he? He looks friendly yet bolts after a few words. Zhuo Fan shook his head. He's being nice to you, figuring you'd be a strong contender if you were an alchemist coupled with your cultivation. He was only assessing the competition. As a result, he saw me in the Radiant stage as the only one to participate and was happy. Since alchemy skill is tied to cultivation as well. He's mocking you then? Shengguan Qingyan cursed. What a snob. You may be weak, you may be average in alchemy, but you've come to join the Grand Pill King convention as an alchemist. Much better than those fakers coming fighting for scraps. I never liked their type. Fuck. Staggering, Zhuo Fan's heart fell. Sister, they might look down on me, but at least you should appreciate me. Why are you calling me weak and average in alchemy? Don't you know you're bruising my ego? Oh, sorry, I was just trying to help you out. Shengguan Qingyan beamed as she apologized. I got too excited and didn't mean it like that. Moreover, I'm stating facts as a 5th layer Radiant stage cultivator. Just how great of an alchemist can you be? If you were entrusted with such a heavy task, why then did Dad force cousin to go through alchemy the past week? Zhuo Fan's face twitched hard and almost spat blood. Sister, I beg of you, never try to take one side again. I have great tolerance and can take it, but others would fly into a rage by now. You're not helping me here, but the other. Isn't it all because of you too? Shengguan Qingyan blushed and glared at him with a pout. Hanging out with the two of you every day, my mind's jumbled up and don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Yesterday, cousin failed in making an 8th grade pill and father was concerned if he would pass the selection. I tried soothing cousin, but he took my kind words the wrong way and almost blew a gasket. BFF. Fan almost laughed out loud. Shangguan Qingyan was flabbergasted, beating his spin in embarrassment. What are you laughing at? It's all your fault for teaching me this. I didn't teach you anything. You're just a natural when it comes to cutting someone down to size, ha ha ha. Don't laugh. The light punches kept coming with Shangguan Qingyan looking distraught. My Shangguan clan is one of virtue. The only reason I became like this is because I spent too much time around you. It's all your fault. Can't you be more gentlemanlike? All the time you only know how to talk back and mock, ruining your son and even a lady like me. Don't blame me. Who told you to stick around every day? No, it's all on you. The two argued in front of everyone, having fun regardless of the audience. Only one pair of eyes watched them with hatred and fury. It was none other than Shangguan Yulin. To not cast any doubts on them, the Shangguan clan planned for Shangguan Yulin and Fan to act like strangers. Fan was registered in Flying Cloud City, so nothing he did was eye-catching. While Shangguan Yulin had to be subtle about it before falling back, faking that he was like everyone else, attracted by the Pill King convention. This way, with one egg in another basket, the chances of failure dropped. At the very least, if Shangguan Yulin was found out, there was still Fan safe, making the Gu household safe in turn. Shangguan clan's plan was ingenious, just that they omitted this young master's mood. Watching the two having fun, Shangguan Yulin was about to explode, with veins popping on his hands. Oh, is brother an alchemist? A soul harmony stage cultivator too. A most unfriendly voice sounded from the same man who probed the others before, showing his fake smile. Brother's alchemy must be amazing, in the 9th grade I bet. May I ask from where? Shangguan Yulin spat. Buzz off. What did you say, brother? His anger made the words somewhat unrecognizable, and the new guy asked again despite the danger he was in. Squinting, Shangguan Yulin showed a nasty grin. Do you want to know my master? Humph, he is the most amazing man in the central area that everyone knows. But I can't say it here. Let's go somewhere quiet and I'll tell you. Shangguan Yulin walked to a corner and was gone. The man was excited as he followed. But just as he made a turn, his mouth was covered. What followed was an endless string of dull sounds as punches rained down on the hapless fool. An hour later, Shangguan Yulin came out in the light looking refreshed and smiling. Ah, much better. He went back to mingling with a faint groan coming from behind. A bloody hand stretched out of the corner. Before slumping down and slowly crawling out was an unrecognizable man into the light. He cursed. What the frickin' hell? We were just talking. Why the violence? What did I ever do to you? I didn't kill your father nor steal your wife. Sob. How was he to know that the man he accosted had indeed had his girl taken? Just that he couldn't vent on the culprit and had him be the target instead, since it just so happened he was the wrong guy at just the right time. It was just now his day for this unfortunate soul. Wiping the blood from his nose, he gnashed his teeth. Curses, wait till I'll tell on you. With a creak, the manor gate opened and a soul harmony stage guard stepped out and cupped his hands to announce, Alchemists, the Lord welcomes you. He turned around and led the way in. The crowd followed excitedly, eyes brimming with hope. They felt glory was just around the corner. Release schedule, +8 GMT 0400 0800 1600 2000 from Wednesday till Sunday. 22444444. Chapter 873, Wronged Agent. Chapter 873, Wronged Agent. Proofreader, Papatonks. Prime Minister, Lords, that guy is a Shangguan clan spy, no doubt about it. In a lavish and grand hall, 3 figures sat in front. On the left, Prime Minister Bailey Jingwei, in center Shangguan Feiyun, and on the right, Dragon-Cleaving Sword King Dan Qingxin. The 3 looked calm, their eyes lowered at the bloody mass below. The man wore a victimized look, his hand constantly wiping his bloody nose as he recounted, Sirs, you must believe me. He is most definitely a spy Shangguan clan sent into Flying Cloud Manor. Glancing at him, Bailey Jingwei had a faint smile. Is the Shangguan clan ever brutal? Are they that cocky to think they can get away with doing something so conspicuous? Yeah, I for one would keep my nose down in another's home. Avoid trouble like the plague and not go around beating people. Dan Qingxin covered his teacup with the most mocking smile. Bailey Jingwei smiled, turning a deep gaze on the victim. His tone was anything but kind. Try to repeat that. Just tell me again that he's related to the Shangguan clan. Well? His eyes darted all over as he spluttered. Bam. Bailey Jingwei slammed the table. I had you sent out there to scout for information, to be the first outpost. It's to gather information, not to let it go to your head and get revenge. Yeah, an undercover agent is to blend in just like a spy would. Sighing, Dan Shin mocked, but I guess with how the guards are always conceited, they have a hard time staying unknown, ha. The victim looked hurt by that remark and hurriedly explained, Sirs Prime Minister, I have been keeping a low profile. Then why are you here like this, a bloody pulp? Shangguan Feiyun barked, pointing at his nose. The man's mouth quivered. Why was I beaten black and blue anyway? I was only talking to him. Bailey Jingwei shook his head and muttered, there are no true coincidences in the world. Everything has a reason. Why is it that of all the quiet alchemists at our gates, only you stand out? And the other left you breathing as well. This shows he didn't find you out as being an agent. Being exposed would definitely have gotten you killed by the Shangguan clan. Yet this didn't happen, only suffering some bruising. Now you're coming here and tell us he's from the Shangguan clan? Ah, you take us for fools? You think Flying Cloud Manor is your backyard to do as you please? No. I'd never. The man panicked and shivered in fear. Bailey Jingwei mocked, then I'll ask you again. Is that man really from the Shangguan clan? Well, his heart fell, his body shook and words came hard. Having it all figured out, Bailey Jingwei ignored him and turned an angry stare at Shangguan Feiyun. Sword King Feiyun, he's your man. I was only borrowing him for something, but now he even refused to take responsibility for his own mess. I just don't know how to deal with him. Though one might ask, if Sir's agents are all so outrageous and abuse their status, I can only wonder, are your ears capable of hearing the truth? Can a Sword King who doesn't know his own domain safeguard? Haha, I won't say it. I'm just an outsider, while here is Sword King Feiyun's world. I shouldn't meddle. Oh, the Pill King convention is about to start. I'll play the host in Sir's place, ha. Bailey Jingwei waved his hand and left with his guards, leaving an indifferent Dan Shen, a shivering and bloody agent, and a furious Shangguan Feiyun. Knuckles cracked as Shangguan Feiyun clenched his fist, staring at the writhing mess below. Answer the question. Is he part of the Shangguan clan? Or are you just trying to get back at him for the beating? Lord He's suspicious. Bam. The agent cowered, blabbering, and Shangguan Feiyun flicked his hand. The bloody mess now turned into a bloody mist, with the soul destroyed as well. Shangguan Feiyun's brow shook, his teeth clenched. These damn arrogant fools lord around the streets daily, but the least they can do is not shame me in front of Bailey Jingwei. Brother Feiyun, easy. Bailey Jingwei is the Prime Minister, and it won't be easy to fool him. Dan Shen patted his shoulder. Annoyed, Shangguan Feiyun flicked his hand and spat. Who the hell is fooling who here? It's all these morons' fault for not playing their part. Hey, that can be taken different ways. Shangguan Feiyun reacted, glowering at Dan Shen. You mean to tell me these men fooled me till now, only getting exposed now? Bailey Jingwei came. Dan Shen beamed and waved his hand. This definitely isn't from just yesterday. Since today they used your name for revenge, it goes to show you handle them poorly. In fact, Bailey Jingwei knocking you down a peg came at the right time for... Whatever, it's none of my business anyway. Ah, by the way, I hear you have quite the wine collection in the cellar. Hope you won't mind, ha. Dan Shen waved his hand at Shangguan Feiyun's dark look, slipping away while leaving those snide remarks to pierce the host's ears. Shangguan Feiyun gnashed his teeth. For God's sake, these bastards made a fool of me. Even Dan Shen dares to mock me now. Humph, I'll be sure to clean up the manor once this is all over with. Shangguan Feiyun's eyes flashed. Yet all were clueless that this agent was a wronged agent. He really did find the Shangguan clan's spy, though by chance by becoming the other's punching bag. Yet his suffering did not go rewarded. Then again he was doing it for his own selfish reasons too. At the end of it all, the fact remained, heaven gave him a shortcut to success. Though brutal, his bosses were too smart for their own good, not believing a word. Man proposes, God disposes. A saying held true now more than ever. Luck was not to be neglected. Meanwhile, in the garden behind Flying Cloud Manor, the crowd gathered around a stone stage. A rough glance saw close to 1,000 heads. Being brought here yet told nothing on the way, the people formed little groups, talking to each other and picking on the other's faults. Hey, look there, it's Shui clan's elder, Shui Dingxian. I heard the rare 9th grade alchemist is on the cusp of reaching 10th grade. That's him? He had placed in the top 20 of the last Pill King competition held at the imperial capital. Coming here he's sure to come out on top. No, not if you consider him. Someone recognized with shock the candidate of another competition while another shook his head in disdain, pointing at an old man in white. That right there is divine Pill Meng Feitian, in the top 10 of the last Pill King competition. I thought the top 10 would be given a post in the imperial capital. What's he doing here, stealing our bread? Who knows? These old coots are all weirdos. Who knows what craziness is going on in that head of theirs? They got their fame last time and now they came here for some more. The man looked puzzled as well. The others felt their hearts sink. Having no clue how many spots were for the imperial capital, they were afraid that with such tight competition, they wouldn't make the cut. All they could do was mock others and make themselves feel good. The two seated candidates finally bumped heads and were looking at each other with fire in their eyes. Old Shui, you're here as well? Humph, Sword King Feiyun controls these parts. My Shui clan is the best in alchemy for thousands of miles. If I didn't show up, calling it the Pill King Convention would be an overstatement. Ha, what a mouth on you. In the last competition at the imperial capital, you placed 5 spots behind me, yet now you show off in my face? Shui Dingxian, you have no shame. Ah, Meng Feitian looked smug. Shui Dingxian's lips twitched in anger. Meng Feitian, time changes everything. Especially when the last competition was a decade ago. We'll just see whose skills are the best soon enough. Ha, then I can only oblige you and have you taste the bitter flavor of defeat once more. Meng Feitian laughed. Chapter 874, Elimination. Chapter 874, Elimination. Proofreader, Papatonks. Shui Dingxian was fuming, his hands shaky, his face all red. Bailey Jingwei just arrived to see the petty Meng Feitian and held his head. Wasn't he supposed to have a post in the imperial family's alchemy department? What's he doing here? Prime Minister, sir, after hearing the Sword Star Empire is selecting alchemists from every corner, Sir Ming resigned his post in the imperial capital and came to join. He said he wanted to start all over again. A guard chuckled. Sighing, Bailey Jingwei shook his head. These crotchety geezers are nothing but weirdos. He was doing just fine in the imperial capital, so why the hell would he quit it all just to go back to it all over again? God knows what's cooking in that brain of his. Bailey Jingwei looked around and walked over to Meng Feitian with cupped hands. Old Meng, it's been a while. It's him? Oh, there's someone else who knows me? You won't get far sticking close to me, boy. Meng Feitian frowned, but as he turned, he shivered. Sir Bailey? Signaling to keep quiet, Bailey Jingwei laughed, leaning on him. Old Meng, the last time we saw each other in the imperial capital. How have you been lately? Thank you, Prime, young master, for your concern. I've been doing very well, haha. Wiping his brow, Meng Feitian's smile was strained. Shui Dingxian gave him a funny look. What's with the usual smug Meng Feitian looking so scared all of a sudden? A look at this youth and he has him shaking in his boots. He scanned Bailey Jingwei with quizzical eyes. Old Meng, I heard you've done well for yourself in the imperial capital. Why leave and come here? Didn't you earn your place in the imperial family? Bailey Jingwei's eyes flashed as he patted Meng Feitian's shoulder, questioning him. Shuddering, Meng Feitian was put on the spot. I'll be honest. Since the Crown Prince suffered an incident, he's been isolated and no alchemist in the imperial family was allowed to check on him. We were baffled. When we heard alchemists were being selected across the empire, we thought we were inadequate. So I resigned stubbornly to come here and prove once again my value and not let others pass me. Oh really? Bailey Jingwei raised a mocking eyebrow. Why then all the way to Sword King Feiyun's place? Of the 9 domains you oughtn't be here. Meng Feitian's face twitched, staying silent. Shui Dingxian stepped closer, explaining, Young master, this coot wants to compete with me. He and I have been studying under the same master, always competing, always excelling. But in the last competition in the imperial capital, he got 5 spots ahead of me, entering the imperial family while I failed. Despite the regret, I had no choice but to accept it. Once more this rare occasion presents itself and I joined with high hopes, but whoever thought this eyesore would show up and ruin things? But he'll be sorely disappointed if he thinks this will be a repeat of last time. As if this win will be mine again? Meng Feitian was annoyed, flaring his nose. Bailey Jingwei got the gist of it. 2 rivals testing their mettle. The fact remained, for Meng to resign from the imperial capital showed just how much he cared about his rival. Bailey Jingwei patted Shui Dingxian's shoulder in encouragement. Oh, a fellow brother of old Meng and only 5 spots shy of him in alchemy. Senior must be a true grandmaster then. A shame the last competition ended like that, but this time will be different. I hope you will both strive hard for the empire. That's all I want, ha ha ha. Bailey Jingwei left with a smile. Xue Dingxian looked at Meng Feiqian with a skeptical look. Old man, who exactly was that youth? What do you mean who? You'll know once you enter the imperial capital. Meng Feiqian gave him a look and said, since a man of his greatness does not want to reveal himself, I can only oblige. And so should you. Xue Dingxian's face fell and mocked, what greatness? Look at you knowing all the secrets of the empire. But isn't it just being a royal alchemist? If you lose to me this time, that spot will be mine. When pigs fly? Meng Feiqian mocked. Bailey Jingwei walked before the crowd, with guards converging from around to protect him. The clamor stopped then and there with all eyes on the youth. Zhuo Fan was watching him too, his eyes shaking. He feels oddly familiar. Stepping on stage, Bailey Jingwei waved his hand for them to settle down. Alchemists coming here from every corner of the central area, I'm gratified for your devotion to His Majesty, your desire to help the Crown Prince in time of need, and efforts for the Empire. I shall be presiding over the alchemist selection at the Flying Cloud Manor. The people started whispering, looking lost. Who is this kid? Isn't the Pill King convention important? Shouldn't there be someone with more renown leading it? Why is this kid here instead? What about Sword King Feiyun? Bailey Jingwei easily read their minds. The Pill King convention has 3 rounds to select the best 10 alchemists to go to the imperial capital and heal His Highness. The preliminary and second rounds shall be overseen by me, while the last will be presided by the Sword King in person. A man of Sword King's renown will only meet those worthy of his time. That set the crowd aboil. It wasn't just about the Pill King convention here, but about their worth. If they couldn't reach the last round, they would be seen as nothing, unworthy of the Sword King's attention. Many of the ambitious candidates had a fire lit under them. Bailey Jingwei approved. By getting all worked up, it would force Shangguan clan's spy to stand out. Bailey Jingwei's eyes flashed as he smiled. He waved and 1,000 guards carried trays to the alchemists, with a simple storage ring on it. What? So many precious ingredients, rare treasures, and even ingredients for a 10th grade pill. The people scanned the rings and cried out. The crowd once again stirred in excitement. Many of the alchemists here were dirt poor. It would have been a miracle if they ever got their hands on a 10th grade ingredient, let alone the pill. They got to touch such precious ingredients in this Pill King convention. Their lives were complete. Bailey Jingwei watched them with a grin, pointing out alchemists to his guards. Kick them out. Yes, sir. The guards moved with purpose, hoisting the alchemists like some chickens and dragging them outside the manor. The people were indignant, to say the least. What's going on? Why are you throwing us out? You've been eliminated? Bailey Jingwei smiled. The men complained, why? We haven't even started refining, so why kick us out? Alchemy needs a calm mind. If you can't even control your joy from seeing 10th grade ingredients, it only shows you're not great alchemists. Bailey Jingwei disdained. The men kicked out naturally responded in a bout of rage. Screw you. We're just poor alchemists, not like you in the Lord's employ. Who wouldn't be excited to see such great ingredients? I won't accept your rule. Bailey Jingwei shook his head. The crowd whispered. The Pill King convention turned out to be harsher than they realized, even involving an alchemist's joy. Wow, it's my first time being at such a tense competition. Shangguan Qingyan smacked her lips. Zhuo Fan nodded with a smile. But looking back at Bailey Jingwei on stage, he turned grave. It might look like it was out of requirement of an alchemist, but what Bailey Jingwei did was eliminate the ones less likely to be Shangguan clan spies. Shangguan clan was the best clan in Eastern lands. No way they would bat an eyelid in front of some meager 10th grade ingredient. So while it looked to be selecting alchemists, it was more to filter Shangguan clan spies. I just knew the Pill King convention was a trap. Now I know why I found him familiar. He's just like Zhuge Changfeng. Wearing a crooked smile, Zhuo Fan shook his head. The kid is something all right. Chapter 875, Preliminary Round. Chapter 875, Preliminary Round. Proofreader, Papatonks. Of the 1,000+ candidates, a mere third remained, most of which were seasoned in deception. As for the rest, they looked at each other stumped, grumbling to themselves. What kind of preliminary round is this? Bailey Jingwei's eyes flashed. Now that the extras are out of the way, we can start the preliminary round. Everyone chilled, having lost their early disregard of this youth. It never crossed their mind the alchemist selection would be so cruel. It hadn't even started and only a third was left. The goal of this round is to refine a 7th grade pill. Seeing them so tense, Bailey Jingwei wore a playful smirk. You've received the ingredient, now refine. What? Everyone was taken aback, with one scrounging up the nerve to open his mouth. Sir, is that all we have to do in the preliminary round, refine a 7th grade pill? What about speed, quality or features? The people waited for Bailey Jingwei's answer. With how harsh the alchemist selection started, the preliminaries had to be even crueler. One extra condition at the least. There's no way it's as simple as a 7th grade pill. There are no hidden targets. All you have to do is make a 7th grade pill. Bailey Jingwei had a wide grin on his face. The candidates were still skeptical. Is it that simple? Most of us here can do it. The crowd was tittering from indecision, considering what they were after in the end. Don't just stand there, hurry up and start. Bailey Jingwei saw them with that dumb look and urged them. He was better off not saying anything as now everyone's eyes shone, having figured out the aim of the test. Speed. All now wore knowing smiles. They heard him loud and clear, hurry up and start. The candidates ignited their flame and started refining with a smug grin. I'm so smart, getting Sir's conditions so fast, ha. But as everyone raced to the finish, problems cropped up. The flames differed, some were heaven and earth spirit flames, others beast flames and even the poorest Yuan Qi flames. The most basic flame, that of Yuan Qi, was feeling the pressure of the other two types, so much so it was hard for it to even light up. Curses, this is the worst fear of any alchemist in a competition, getting your flame snuffed out. How am I supposed to refine when it won't even burn? They'd have to wait till the others finished. But with speed being the crux in this round. Dude, while others finished the race, I'm just running in place. That had the group of average alchemists with the most plain flame growing frantic by the second. They looked around with tense faces as the others showed off their precious otherworldly flames and the clear contempt in their eyes. Shangguan Yulin now took out his faint blue flame, releasing its own mighty aura, that of a rare heaven and earth spirit flame. It was what the three venerables had prepared especially for this Pill King convention. With this wonder flame, coupled with his high cultivation and weak of hell, he ought to barely make an 8th grade pill. Grinning, Shangguan Yulin glanced at his precious heaven and earth spirit flame, then looked at the far Zhuofan in disdain. He reckoned Zhuofan was just a 5th layer radiant stage nobody, chased out of his homeland. What could he possibly amount to? A Yuan Qi flame tops. With so many promising candidates in the Pill King convention, Yuan Qi flame was like a bug trampled around by the other ones. What can you do now? The punk must be panicking right about now, crying for his mommy, humph. Shangguan Yulin was relishing in his delusion of Zhuofan's predicament. But then his eyes glazed over from shock. He wasn't the only one, as many around Zhuofan were dumbstruck. A surge of a scarlet flame, 10 meters high, burned hot as the sun. Zhuofan looked at the towering blaze with a flat look. While all around him were bug-eyed, unable to get over their shock. Shangguan Qingyan was even more so. Jigu, your flame? Yuan Qi flame, why? Glancing at her, Zhuofan spoke lazily, leaving her dull and the others with twitching faces. Are you bloody kidding here? Shangguan Qingyan gasped. I know that, but why is it the only one unaffected by the many beast flames and heaven and earth spirit flames? Everyone strained their ears to catch every word. Zhuofan looked around then said, I have better control. I'm sure you know that flame control is crucial to an alchemist. Bang. Something just kept on falling in the background while Shangguan Qingyan merely staggered as she said in disbelief, what alchemist here doesn't have control? But look at their Yuan Qi flame, it's not even out. So how is it that yours is so lively? The candidates had hopeful looks, wishing to know the secret. As alchemists they all wanted to improve their skills. This is different. Zhuofan shook his head, putting on the most grave look he mustered as he ran his mouth and weaved inanity. A fire has spirit, making it so a high-grade fire would suppress a lower one. But people have spirit as well, just of different character from a flames and aren't affected by higher-grade flames. This is where the problem lies. If a flame spirit joins with a human's, would it still be suppressed? The people gaped in shock. They never heard of this theory in their lives. Wasn't fire fire and man man? How could they join? Zhuofan smiled, this is where your control lacks. If fire is fire and man is man, how can your control excel? I'm different, I reached that stage where I'm one with the flame. It is an extension of me, going where I want with a thought. I fear no higher grade flame, and my Yuan Qi flame doesn't by relation. This is the pinnacle of flame control. Oh, I see, brother is a true genius. I'm in awe of your skill and control. Brother is only in the radiant stage, but your skills are a marvel. Brother must have been focused on alchemy so much you forewent cultivation. Or you'd be in a much higher stage, brimming with power. I truly admire brother's perseverance in alchemy. Yes, we thought we knew enough about alchemy and came to the Peking convention. Now we witness brother's amazing skill. It would be such a shame to fail because of your low cultivation. But from brother's diligent focus, we're sure that brother will one day soar. Your name will be known throughout. Hear, hear, ha ha ha. Claps resounded from all around Zhuo Fan. Shengguan Qingyan was looking at him with bright eyes and a wide smile. Only Shengguan Yulin was seething in anger. He never thought Zhuo Fan was so skilled to make a Yuan Qi flame reach such heights. It was the miracle of a true underdog in making others look inadequate. Even he had to admit Zhuo Fan's control was out of this world, crushing the expert's reality. Totally unaware that Zhuo Fan's so-called fancy control didn't exist to begin with. It was a hoax. His Yuan Qi flame stood taller than the rest because of the three mighty flames he had. Control had nothing to do with it. Chaos Flame, Decimating Golden Flame, and the dreaded Thunder Flame. These three were like emperors housed in one body. While he only let out a Yuan Qi flame, it was backed up by the three emperors' aura. So how would the beast flames and heaven and earth spirit flames be so blind as to not bow before true power? It was akin to a 4-year-old girl sucking her lollipop, strutting cluelessly through a ghetto, under the greedy eyes of everyone around. But looking closely behind the wee lass, they'd find a 1,000,000-strong army. Who'd be dumb enough to touch her at this point? This wee and frail lass was Zhuo Fan's Yuan Qi flame, while the army was the three mighty flames, growling at the others to stay away. Thugs could scare children, but scare the army behind them? That's a no-no. Though this was one secret only Zhuo Fan was privy to, while others were completely taken in by his guise of faux control. This way Zhuo Fan didn't have to use Azure Flame and scare off all the other flames. When the Emperor came, his way was paved. And that would be showing off a tad too much for his liking. Chapter 876, Top. Chapter 876, Top. Proofreader, Papatonks. Cousin, I never knew you to have such skill. Shengguan Qingyan looked at Zhuo Fan filled with admiration. Zhuo Fan had a smirk on, sticking out his chin. Ain't I awesome? Now who was it, I wonder, that said my alchemy sucks just a minute ago? Humph, since when did fire control equal being amazing in alchemy? Shengguan Qingyan blushed, sticking to her guts. Dad said radiant stage cultivators can at most become a 7th grade alchemist. Now that it is a requirement for preliminaries, it remains to be seen if you can pass it. Zhuo Fan shook his head, muttering, aside from the harsh mandatory cultivation stage in alchemy, the core of it is secret arts and control. The last one being imperative to one's results. You and your dad are amateurs and don't know the details. But any alchemist worth his salt is clear on this. What do you guys say? Zhuo Fan turned to the crowd. Yes, yes. Everyone bobbed their heads, with one even speaking out, Miss, your cousin is right. The situation now proves just how frickin' important it is. Why else would we be standing here like this, waiting for them to finish? His colleagues nodded, sharing his pain. Right, if these bums had Zhuo Fan's amazing control skill, they wouldn't be affected by others' special flames and look so down. Shengguan Qingyan returned her eye to Zhuo Fan, but anything can be said when the actual results count. Isn't it all about speed? Say that again once you get into the top 10. Miss, you're being too hard on him. It's not so easy to achieve it in today's Peking convention, now with such a tight competition. Since nothing could be done, these guys talked it out to soothe their worries. Your cousin has an insane control, but not on the level of a beast flame or heaven and earth spirit flame. It would be amazing if he makes it to the top 100. So you admit it? Control has little to do with actual refining. Grasping the excuse she wanted, Shengguan Qingyan laughed at her great wisdom. Shrugging, the people only smiled. Miss, there's so many factors when it comes to alchemy. Control is just one of them. Whether or not your cousin will stand out will depend on his grasp of other aspects. Besides, while we have been debating here, the others have started already. Some are even close to finishing. I now stand corrected, It'd be a miracle if your cousin gets into top 100. What? Shangguan Qingyan's startled eyes looked around, finding hundreds of special flames finishing refining the ingredients, with some of them wrapping up, while their side hadn't even begun. This sudden delay made her feel the pressure and grow angry. Don't just waste time with idle chat. Time's a wastin'. The candidates shrugged with a plain look. It's not us chatting here, but young miss yapping on around your cousin. True, I have to give that to them. Zhuofan nodded. Have you come to help or hold me back? Shangguan Qingyan's face fell and glared with a pout. How can you say that? It's you who's wasting time yet blame it on me. Look, they're almost done. Shangguan Qingyan pointed over to Shangguan Yulin but then caught herself. She at least had the mind to not expose their relationship. Zhuofan followed her finger and nodded. He sure is fast though. Zhuofan returned to his blaze, throwing ingredients in it and beginning the process. Humph, feeling guilty so you only start now? Shangguan Yulin smirked seeing Zhuofan start at long last. He focused on his own flame then as the pills were about to be finished. Starting now will only get you north of 300. Shangguan Qingyan was feeling the pressure from all the other exuberant flames around. I hope the preliminaries won't kick too many out so you can squeeze in. Yeah, it'd be such a shame for brother to fail after having such amazing control. But that'll be hard, the crowd nodded, filled with sarcasm. Glaring at their audience, Shangguan Qingyan huffed and stared tensely at her nude cousin. Zhuofan merely smirked, the blaze in his hand warping and readying to finish the pill. The others cried out, Brother, what are you doing? You only got the ingredients in and have yet to refine them. If Zhuofan doused his blaze, all the ingredients would turn to ash, a great carelessness for an alchemist. They thought that with Zhuofan's control, he'd be a seasoned alchemist. Was he making such an elementary mistake to make up for lost time? But no amount of rushing is worth taking the foolish approach of ruining the pills. The judge up there clearly said the one to make a pill will qualify. But by failing to make the pill, it's all going down the drain. Brother, are you touched in the head perhaps? What's wrong? Shangguan Qingyan was clueless, though noticed the tense looks of the crowd. She guessed Zhuofan might have done something he shouldn't. Zhuofan beamed, his eyes focusing on the fire. Nothing, they're just droning on. Ignore them. The blaze shrunk quickly, vanishing in moments under the incredulous eyes of his audience. Meng Feitian and Shui Dingxian were right now in a tight competition. They had rare heaven and earth spirit flames, with fires so hot that dyed the sky red. Ha, old Shui, I'm just about done. The preliminaries are mine just like before, ha. Humph, stop with the prancing. My pill is about done as well. We'll see who takes first soon. The two lifelong rivals fought with everything. But one thing was certain, they were both grandmasters and the win could go either way. Bailey Jingwei stood on stage and nodded at the two oldies' rivalry, smiling to a guard. They're true alchemists, old Meng and his junior brother. They're the only ones leading the round. The closest to them are still only halfway. Such disparity is incredible. They're sure to take the top 2 places in preliminaries. Well, of course, since old Meng was an imperial family alchemist. His junior brother, Shui Dingxian, had been competing with him for decades, so of course he'd be outstanding as well. Those random alchemists around stand no chance. The guard nodded. Bailey Jingwei sighed, looking down somewhat. The main reason for this Pill King convention was to draw out the rats and take down Shangguan clan's thieves, but also to get some good seeds for the imperial capital. I didn't think it'd be so hard to go headhunting. Sword King Feiyun's domain only has Shui Dingxian worthy of attention. The others are subpar, lacking sorely by comparison with old Meng. They don't deserve to enter the imperial capital. This only goes to show the Prime Minister's brilliant track record of recent years. Recruiting talent throughout the central area all this time has made them all be under Prime Minister now. Few are those remaining, making it hard to find such a commodity among the people. Haha, you sure have a slick tongue. The guard bowed and Bailey Jingwei patted his shoulder with a sigh. Maybe so. All I wish is for the Empire to be strong and use talents to their best. Ha, old man, I'm almost there. This is my win. A laughter echoed, drawing looks. Meng Feitian held a shiny pill in hand, needing but to take away the flame to finish. Shui Dingxian's pill was still lacking, needing but a few more moments to finish. Yet this was enough to settle a victor. Shui Dingxian shuddered in fury, but powerless to fight it. He watched Meng Feitian's revoltingly prideful face, with a smile going from ear to ear as the fire was doused to take the pill. Bailey Jingwei and the guard smiled. It's still old Meng who won in the end, even if only by a hair. Haha, these old guys are funny. Boom. Meng Feitian's flame had yet to die out as an explosion rattled their heads. A drawn-out voice resounded, "Sir, I'm done." Chapter 877, Doubt. Chapter 877, Doubt. Proofreader, Papatonks. What? Bailey Jingwei jerked and turned to the corner where Yuan Qi flames failed to even ignite. To go faster than old Meng, an imperial family alchemist, does that mean there's still a genius here? Meng Feitian shuddered at the sudden outburst and caused his attention to lapse and the pill to be in danger of being ruined right at the end. No way. You're telling me this backwater city holds another talent than Shui Dingxian? Meng Feitian frowned, wrapping up his refining and ending up being the runner-up. Then he looked nervously where the shout came from. Shui Dingxian was startled as well, but then looked lost. As far as he knew, living in this area for so long, there was no other than his clan as real grandmasters in alchemy around these parts. Where did he come from then to be faster than us brothers? In the end, seeing was believing. Since he was close to finishing as well, he wrapped it up and finished third. Bailey Jingwei, Meng Feitian and Shui Dingxian thus turned their dubious gazes to the speaker. The rest gasped in shock and stopped their refining, wanting to see what kind of outstanding, marvelous and ridiculous being could outdo these two grandmasters. "Prime Minister, sir, should I go and get to the bottom of this?" A guard glanced at Bailey Jingwei and asked. Bailey Jingwei shook his head. "No, since he took the lead in the preliminaries, I want to see him myself. If he's a true genius, I'll personally take him back to the imperial capital. But if he's a quack looking to make it big, I'll have to show my less kind side." Bailey Jingwei took large steps over, with Meng Feitian and Shui Dingxian rushing after. 3 men and 1 guard, overcome by curiosity, made their way to where Zhuo Fan was, who still held his hand closed. "Who said he's done?" Bailey Jingwei scanned the competitors. All fingers pointed at Zhuo Fan, out of fear of being put through the ringer as well. So they rushed to put some distance between them. Shengguan Qingyan gave him a reproachful look, then worried. They all saw how quickly Zhuo Fan closed his fists moments after he dumped the ingredients into the blaze. No matter how one looked at it, it was a bust. That was why all figured him for a lunatic who had given up in despair. Only to realize, he's no lunatic but a moron, a suicidal one. Well, he did close his fist just as the ingredients went in the fire, then shout out he was done, stealing the Grandmaster's thunder. This isn't your average friendly pill king convention where you can talk trash. It won't end with just a simple expulsion. Consequences are deadly in a competition held at a Sword King's manor. Declaring you finished when the pill is obviously ruined, are you toying with Sword King Feiyun? Your head is on the line here. Maybe there'd be some innocent bystanders who'd suffer as well from such crass transgression. So the same one who appreciated his talent and wanted to get close moments before, made the sound judgment of keeping their distance and playing dumb. Shengguan Qingyan was hopeless and standing there, unable to escape. Why is he so crazy all of a sudden? Playing around with the Flying Cloud Manor? That's a swift trip down under. A grin split Shengguan Yulin's face, enjoying the show. Moments ago he was still mulling over how to use the manor to remove this thorn in his side. When lo and behold, the guy did it himself and he didn't have to lift a finger. It sure saves me the trouble. He was feeling a sudden and uncontrollable need to cackle. Rotten punk, your day has come, ha. Bailey Jingwei figured it all out from the obvious looks and turned to Zhuo Fan. Was it you? Yes, sir. Zhuo Fan smiled. Bailey Jingwei sneered as he began. Brother, I've seen many cheats trying to catch my eye at the imperial capital, obsessed with fame and willing to do anything to gain status. I'm more than happy to cater for real talents, of course, but if there's one thing I hate, it's to have some clown think he can pull the wool over my eyes. Bailey Jingwei squinted. If you're some special talent, you could have approached me in trying to offer your services. But this is a pill competition, where results are judged on one's grasp of alchemy, not baiting me like this to showcase your value. Humph, in fact, even if you might be a fairly decent talent, I'll still only judge your action as a means to toy with me and will have to enforce the rules of the competition upon you. Have I made myself clear? Crystal. Zhuo Fan nodded. Bailey Jingwei raised an eyebrow. This was rare, seeing one held his own under his rebuke. Bailey Jingwei had a whole new respect for him. Regardless, if Zhuo Fan put on a show, the result would be the same, no mercy. Bailey Jingwei patted Zhuo Fan's hand and warned, "This is your last chance. Are you really done?" "Of course," Zhuo Fan replied. While he was nonplussed, the crowd was sweating bullets. "Dude, learn when to quit." The other guy even took the time to explain the process while also giving you a way out. "Plead guilty and you might walk. Why so adamant? Who here doesn't know just how done you are?" The crowd lamented inwardly. Bailey Jingwei looked from the audience to him with a smile. "I like your mentality the best, able to keep cool in my presence. But toying is still toying and would all be revealed in the end. Since you're so done with your pill, show it to me. I will be kind enough to give you one last chance. Walk away with your fist closed and I'll ignore it, but this offer is gone the minute you pry open those fingers." Clutching his clothes, Shangguan Qinyan glared hard at the calm Zhuo Fan. "Haha, thank you sir for your kindness, but I'm not playing anything here." Zhuo Fan shook his head, his eyes shining as he opened his fist. "Also, it's not my mentality that's great but my clear conscience." Sir's question must have come after noticing the bystander's reaction. However, by definition, a bystander is a mere spectator and their reaction isn't always to be trusted. A ripple spread from Zhuo Fan's hand, followed by a colorful aura and thick fragrance of medicine. The crowd felt their minds sharpen, their bodies livelier, making these alchemists immediately label the result as a top 7th grade pill. Whoosh! The pill had taken a life of its own as it hovered for a moment before shooting away. Meng Feitian made a sign and the pill froze before bringing it to his hand. Feeling the warmth it gave off and the specific scent of a freshly baked pill, Meng Feitian rushed before Bailey Jingwei and gasped, "Young master, it's a newly refined top 7th grade pill. No mistake about it." "You mean to tell me the kid's random clench ended up making a 7th grade pill?" But none was more shocked than the watching alchemists around Zhuo Fan. They saw with their own eyes how Zhuo Fan had done it, and that was precisely why reality gave them such a blow they couldn't get over. "That actually works." Shangguan Qinyan was looking overwhelmed, filled with disbelief. "Is alchemy that easy? Throw in some ingredients into the fire then just grab it and it's done? What about those other clan's alchemists toiling day in day out around a cauldron to make pill after pill? Was it a high-class act?" He had no idea that this was all due to Zhuo Fan's unique skill in alchemy, Universe Palm. It was this very skill that helped him trample over those obnoxiously conceited alchemists and poach the best alchemist in Tianyu as his disciple. It was a supreme skill Zhuo Fan never shared. Bailey Jingwei looked from the pill to Zhuo Fan with an awkward gaze. He doubted Zhuo Fan at first because the circumstances made it so, the people around Zhuo Fan looked at him so. But the results were now in and no matter how outrageous and unbelievable it was, he was a true alchemical master, faster than the ex-top 2 grandmasters. In his capacity as Prime Minister, Bailey Jingwei was, nonetheless, also capable of respect and appreciation for his fellow man. He walked before him and bowed in apology. "I ask that Sir can overlook my rude remarks from before." "Sir doesn't need to do that." Zhuo Fan grinned casually. Shangguan Yulin looked bleak, gnashing his teeth and seething on the inside. What the hell did the punk do? Those ingredients are supposed to be ashes? How is it a pill instead? Lucky bastard. Shangguan Yulin squinted and raged. Chapter 878, The Noose Titans. Chapter 878, The Noose Titans. Proofreader, Papatonks. Tracing the precious and still warm pill in his hand, Bailey Jingwei praised, "Sir is a true grandmaster on the path of alchemy to have achieved such outstanding speed in refining." "Sir's too kind." Zhuo Fan was humble. Bailey Jingwei bowed deeply. "It is a glory deserving of Sir's talent. May I know Sir's name, where you come from and where you stay?" "I am Gu Yifun from Western lands that has taken temporary refuge at the Gu residence." "Oh, a newcomer to the central area, ha. Welcome." Bailey Jingwei bowed again. The Sword Star Empire of the central area always appreciated talent. "I believe Sir Gu will have a great chance to make something of yourself here." "Thank you for the kind words." No, this is a fact. My Sword Star Empire will never neglect any talent." Bailey Jingwei bowed again and gestured. "Sir Gu has not only come out first in preliminaries but also passed the 2 grandmasters. The honor is yours. Please follow me." Bailey Jingwei led the way with the guards flanking the sides and carving a path. Now that was respect right there. Zhuo Fan nodded inside, more alert than ever. He sure knows how to cater to the people's feelings. Decisive when needed and respectful when required. There's nothing fake about him. Truly a man of character. Saying he was resourceful and shrewd was an understatement. It was more appropriate to call him a genius mastermind. There's no way some steward of a Sword King's manor acts like this. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath and followed. Shangguan Qingyan next to him woke up moments later and followed with a face flushed with pride. All that remained were just a few hundred envious alchemists watching the two go in front and be given such glory like honored guests of the royal family. But no one's envy could ever match Shangguan Yulin's. For God's sake, here I was eager to see his head roll only to make a sudden recovery and take first place. He got to keep his head and get all the honor and glory. This is just absurd. I'm the main here, me? While you're just the backup. How are you better? Shangguan Yulin was filled with discontent, especially seeing Shangguan Qingyan looking so happy near Zhuo Fan. What was the week of hell even for? I can't even beat a meager 7th grade Radiant Stage weakling alchemist? He didn't like it at all and was not about to take it lying down. The rancor burned in his stare, his curses unspoken. Gu, enjoy it while you can. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. A Radiant Stage alchemist like you, 7th grade is the limit. Your shortcomings will be made painfully obvious in the second round, where your fall from grace will be met with harsh rebuttal. The hope of Shangguan clan getting into the manor still rests with me and me alone. This isn't grievance but confidence in my alchemy. Just you wait. Patting his bruised ego, Shangguan Yulin looked ashen as the flame in his hand finished the pill. The side alchemist found his expression baffling. Friend buddy, what's up? If refining gets you pissed, how are you an alchemist? See that? That's Bailey Jingwei, knowing when to be resolute and conforming. The guy he just threatened is now being led like a guest of honor, the switch in treatment coming at the drop of the hat. In a dark corner, Shangguan Feiyun and Dan Qingshen overlooked the competition. Shangguan Feiyun's eyes shone. I admit that I fall short in bearing when compared to this kid. He's definitely prime minister for a reason, humph. Dan Qingshen chugged another mouth of wine and chuckled. Haha, that's the whole point of being made prime minister. You think just about everyone is a skilled martial artist like us? What's wrong with being one? Isn't Sword Star Empire's ancestor, Invincible Sword, one as well? Without one such as him holding the nation, Sword Star Empire could never intimidate the other lands. I wouldn't have run off to the central area to become one of the 9 Sword Kings either. In the end, conquest is done with force while pacification through guile. Sword Star Empire's power does come from the invincible sword. But there are some things we know too well. Dan Qingshen's eyes flashed, staring at the smiling Bailey Jingwei. Sword Star Empire's power is half due to that man's efforts. Without Bailey Jingwei, Invincible Sword might be able to take the 4 lands all the same, but it would be a difficult undertaking. Now though, the day looks awfully close. Shangguan Feiyun squinted and nodded. Central area has become stronger, and with the might of the 9 Sword Kings, the 4 lands have no chance. Bailey Jingwei's plan for years will soon come to pass. What's that guy doing here? Dan Qingshen startled Shangguan Feiyun with his cry. He muttered confused, now even Western lands is. Shangguan Feiyun asked, Old man, who are you talking about? No one. Got the wrong person. Dan Qingshen blinked a couple of times then shook his head with a chuckle. Though his grip on the wine jug was harder, his sharp eyes hid the unknown intent behind them. Reaching the very front, before the 2 grandmasters, Bailey Jingwei bowed to Zhuo Fan. Sir Gu is the best alchemist. Please stay here and allow me to witness Sir's remarkable skills. Sir's too kind. Zhuo Fan spoke. Bailey Jingwei nodded and went on stage to resume his watch over the other candidates. Just that compared to the rest of the crowd, the top 3 were way too fast. Glancing at Zhuo Fan, Meng Feitian and his junior brother looked skeptical. It was hard for them to swallow the fact Zhuo Fan, at his age and cultivation, could refine faster than them. It was a kind of talent that was too outrageous to accept. Kid, whose mantle do you carry? Oh, it's my clan's inheritance, haha. Zhuo Fan's bright reply came to Meng Feitian's cold and questioning tone. Meng Feitian knew his meaning and mocked. Fine, keep it to yourself. We don't care anyway. But let me tell you, we have strict demands on alchemy. Making anything but the best 7th grade pill will be an insult to ourselves and a disgrace to our master. While speed is of the essence, we have made perfect pills. So don't go getting a big head for being faster than us with just a top pill. Old Foggy's wasted so much time making some perfect pills? Shengguan Qingyan was quick to answer, first with an annoyed glare. Zhuo Fan rushed to stop her. Seniors, please forgive my ignorance. It just happened for me to be a bit faster this time. Don't mind it. If we did, we'd be the ones shaming ourselves for lowering to a kid's level. Meng Feiqian didn't care, but some things he had to admit, regardless of it being a top quality. You sure are young and promising to make it with such a cultivation and at that speed. The actions speak of your skills. One day you may even surpass us. Work hard, kid. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands. Thank you so much for your praise, senior. Ending it there, the two grandmasters ignored him, but as they shared a glance, they gave a sigh filled with mixed feelings. The new replaces the old. They felt threatened by the promising youth. It's the first time I see old Meng looking so lost. Bailey Jingwei watched their interaction with a smile. This proves Sir Gu is indeed a talent to get their approval. His cultivation may be lacking but more than deserving of being groomed. The Pill King convention finally shows results, getting me another talent, ha ha ha. The guard bowed from the side. Congratulations, sir, the Empire has gained another helper. Tone down the flattery. Bailey Jingwei waved him off. The others' refining is about to end. Get those bums without a flame out of here. Shengguan clan is the best in eastern lands for a reason. There's no way they'll send a spy in with some lousy flame. Humph. Yes, Prime Minister is wise. The guard nodded and got to work. Chapter 879, Servant. Chapter 879, Servant. Proofreader, Papatonks. Hey, I didn't even start yet. What's the meaning of this? What can you refine when you can't even start your fire? Get lost. This isn't fair. How can we compete like this? It's not our fault the others have better flames. You can't do this to us. You're discriminating against us because of our average flames. Complaints, grumbles and dissatisfaction echoed as the guards drove away the alchemists that had yet to start. It was not the guards' job to care about their problems. They had a task and proceeded to throw them out the front door. No amount of complaining worked. But if they resorted to force, the guards would cower them with their auras and bloodthirst. The outcome was obvious to any just by sensing it, death. So they shuddered and fell silent, leaving after feeling abandoned. Peace was once again restored outside the manor. Bailey Jingwei was on stage giving them a cold gaze. His respect had been used up on Zhuo Fan and he had no more left to give to mere bugs. This was Bailey Jingwei, the Prime Minister of the Sword Star Empire, always pragmatic. He was willing to bear any shame in pursuit of talents, even at the expense of his own pride as a Prime Minister. But when facing these extras that didn't make the cut, he found them an eyesore, offering no compassion or care. This was how any true official should be, calm and of good judge of character. Another group is eliminated. Zhuo Fan knew this guy was tightening the noose around them. It won't be long before he gets his rat. Zhuo Fan glanced by chance at Shengguan Yulin. Seeing his nose so high up after making a pill and the sheer disdain for the alchemists who had yet to start, going as far as enjoying to see them being kicked out, Zhuo Fan's face twitched and shook his head. What a fool, he's totally oblivious of the net closing in. Bailey Jingwei looked at the remaining candidates, around 500, while another 200 had been removed. He smiled, people, do you find my methods crude? A brilliant man such as Sir has done perfectly. The candidates cupped their hands and shouted. Zhuo Fan shook his head. These guys were the winners in this case. Since you kicked out their competition, they're more than accommodating. He's only asking to make this competition he's presiding over sound fair. I'm here holding a Pill King convention, not a job offer. Those that didn't make it failed to meet the standard. The Empire did not toy with them. Or the Empire's prestige would take a hit. Bailey Jingwei nodded, finding it a bit lacking as he kept making excuses. All alchemists should strive their best in a competition. Joining such an event, especially an Empire-held one, they should realize the minimal requirements, especially when it came to one's flame. They should have been aware of the tight competition. Since they haven't yet come to join such an event, it proves you're not invested in it. Getting eliminated is only natural. Sir's right, they got what they deserved. One man bowed with a sneer on the spot. The rest followed, hailing the Prime Minister, like they were congratulating a politician for winning an election. Zhuo Fan, Meng Feiqian and Shui Dingxian were silent. They weren't against their ruling but not about to debase themselves. This was an alchemist's self-respect. All alchemists went from weak to strong, each having gone through using Yuan Qi flame at some point in their career. As for the special flame they had now, that was earned through harsh toils, it didn't fall on their laps. Only an alchemist knew another's plight. Towards those poor alchemists, trying to get a better flame was very hard, sometimes even deadly. But the flame did not mean one's skill sucked. By admitting this fact, it was the same as saying these remaining candidates sucked the same at one point in their alchemist career. This made some conscious alchemists aware of their value and not join the rear kissing. As for the rest of those toadies screaming their lungs out, they were a disgrace as alchemists, pursuing this path for pocket change and ephemeral glory. Bailey Jingwei saw Zhuo Fan and some abstained from being swallowed by the trend and approved of it. While looking at the toadies he only had disdain. They're nothing but expendable pawns. Bailey Jingwei smirked, let the true preliminaries begin. The cheering died on the spot. Sir W, what was that? Haven't we been through preliminaries already? Of course not. You think the Pill King convention is that easy? Bailey Jingwei spoke, that was only meant to eliminate random elements slipping in. The true selection has only just begun. Bring their pills. Bailey Jingwei called his guards, sending them a couple of extra words before they entered the crowd to inspect their results. The 500 alchemists were sporting countless emotions: pride, anxiety, worry, fear. In an hour the pills were brought back in 2 piles. The deciding factor of this split had nothing to do with the process involved or the quality. These piles had quality ranging from low to top as well. Bailey Jingwei scanned the 2 and pointed at one, cast them out. Yes, sir. Bowing, the guards walked in a line towards the designated targets. Hoisting them by the collar, they were easily carried off. Though that didn't make it any easier to accept it. Wait. I made a top pill. Why are you throwing me out? There would always be one who whined, and this time was no exception. Someone then pointed at someone snickering, I refined faster than him and with good quality. Why is Sir eliminating me as well? The guy jerked and shivered in fear, looking tensely at Bailey Jingwei. He knew very well he was worse than some who were eliminated. But was Sir so nice enough to leave him out? He was by himself with joy of having been skipped, but someone telling on him filled him with hatred and worry, cursing the culprit to the heavens. Screw you. I got luck on my side, alright? What the hell are you dragging me down for? Bailey Jingwei ignored the complaint with a sneer, because his pill's aura is thicker. How can you call it a spirit pill if it has no spiritual energy? What? Choking, the guy shuddered, but he still wasn't convinced. What do you know about alchemy? He used an 8th grade ingredient to make it so thick. But its quality is worse than mine. I used 7th grade ingredients and made it better. This shows my skill is better than his. The others bobbed their heads in total agreement. When did I say it's about skill here? Bailey Jingwei raised an eyebrow. Once you enter the imperial capital, you're to serve the imperial family. The first requirement isn't skill but determination to give your all. I didn't judge you on speed when you made the 7th grade pill, but being able to always refine to the best of your ability and speed. Then I found that some of you only cared about showing off your skills while forgetting about my requirement. It's obvious you can make a pill faster with 8th grade ingredients, but you chose 7th grade. It's obvious you can make a top 7th grade pill with 8th grade ingredient. Please, your lord is the imperial family and doesn't need you to stint on ingredients and don't need to dazzle them with your skills. As long as you do your very best and are fast, nothing else matters. I'm throwing them out because they were holding back. Any other problem? Shuddering, the people fell silent. Bailey Jingwei didn't have a true requirement of an alchemist, but a bureaucratic one: to be a good servant. My character, livelihood and my prideful skills aren't important here. I must first be a good and devoted servant to the Lord first. Wasn't this the whole point behind entering the imperial capital? Haha. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.